Welcome back to the Every F and FF podcast, the only podcast about Final Fantasy. It's the only one.
The only one about many Fs.
That's right. No, there's other ones about Fs.
Oh, yeah.
But not two Fs. I didn't have a gag for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyway.
We're all pretty sleepy today.
I know.
I'm real sneepy.
I'm
Sleepy.
both Sneepy and Curtis Ware.
I'm Carl Germ and very sleepy.
I'm Alex, and definitely the only Alex.
And definitely the only Alex we have on the podcast today, which is good because we have a guest, and I wouldn't want their name to overlap with you just in case. But
Hi, I'm Alex.
Oh, no! Well, Carl had a good idea of calling one of you Alex A and the other Alex 1. So that, like, in order, you're both at the top of the list and nobody feels like they're farther down.
And there's no way that would get even more confusing.
No, absolutely not. But guest Alex, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Alex Wimmer. If you're one of the 15 people that likes chip jazz, you already follow me on Twitter. So, hi, buddy. Yeah, me and Curtis used to live together.
A long time
That is
ago.
how we know each other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You poor
I just
soul.
finished playing Final Fantasy VII, and y'all asked me to come talk to you. So here I am.
Yeah.
So what are your qualifications? Like, what is your history with Final Fantasy? Which is something I always mean to ask every guest, but forget to.
Well, I literally just finished playing through FF7.
That's more than me.
Yeah, you're already... Do you want to be our new producer?
And definitely, like, reading FF7 fan fiction as a child about
Hell yeah.
boys kissing is what made me gay. So, yay.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
I can't wait till I'm done.
Yeah. Well, it's the fan fiction. You have to read the fan fiction.
Oh, that's
to
right.
get
That's
that
the deep
effect.
lore.
The deep lore.
How
The
deep are we
deepest
talking?
lore.
Yeah, to be frank though, I would we'll get there when we get there, but I would much prefer fan fiction of Final Fantasy VII to be canon than some of the actual canon like
Oh, what, you
spin-off
don't
material.
like Gact?
Yeah.
What about Bikini Neo Bahamut?
What was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, the bikini Bahamut.
Bikini
That is absolutely
Bahamut.
canon.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you didn't catch that, Alex, last week we featured a.
Oh, no, I caught it.
I think everyone.
saw the whole
It's been
thing.
going around. Everyone's catching it.
Yeah, I love Mike. Big friend.
We're the podcast with the most voluptuous summons around.
Just want them all to crush me.
All right, so before that goes any further,
What's your favorite Final Fantasy, Alex?
I have probably played 5 the most in my life.
God, it's so good.
Cool.
It's very fun. I don't know if I would say good.
Oh, I think
fun.
it's great.
It's a good old time. But yeah, I'm just now slowly working my way through the PlayStation era Final Fantasies and hope to find a new favorite one soon.
Sweet.
Would you say that your favorite is Tactics Advanced 2?
Tactics Advanced 1.
Oh,
but
I'm
yes.
sorry.
I wasn't going to bring up the side games. Y'all have
We
not
will.
strayed.
We'll
Final
get to it.
Fantasy Mystic
Yeah.
Quest.
Yeah, we'll have you back on for that one.
It's numbered 1, isn't it? They actually it said 1 on the box.
Which one?
Oh, no,
Final
it's
Fantasy
just Final
Tactics
Fantasy
1?
Tactics Advanced.
That'd be really funny if it
Well,
just said 1.
there's a Tactics and a Tactics Advance for the Game Boy Advance, which
And then Advance got a sequel called A2 for the DS.
yes,
Ooh.
and I love Tactics Advanced and not so much Tactics. Oh, I said it on the podcast.
Ooh.
At me.
Right there with you.
I am so
Yeah.
confused with all of these numbers and letters. I'm like, are you guys talking about Kingdom Hearts games now? Final
can't
Fantasy
wait till
30,
y'all have to talk about
365
Kingdom
over
Hearts.
3 or
Yeah,
whatever.
Redux.
right.
0.5.
Z.
Z.
GT.
Oh, hey, let's
Final Fantasy GT.
before we begin today, before we get into it, let's play a little mini game.
All right.
And it's which of the 4 on the podcast right now stayed up until 4 a.m. watching every bit of Goku versus Frieza in like a giant supercut of it. Oh, it was me. Oh, I know.
Did it include Dragon Ball Super Goku vs Frieza?
No, it was just
The classic.
just the classics, baby, baby.
Wow.
No, I
Well, now
stayed
we
up
have something
late.
to watch tonight.
Yeah.
I stayed up doing this section of the game. I stayed up late last night doing it.
What section of the game is that? Let's get into it. Tell us about this section.
Yeah. So when we left off last week, we had just escaped from the Northern Crater, most of us, and we saw the cutscene where everyone was kind of falling over and making our way out of it. And I think then everything kind of went black, right?
That's correct.
Screen went black.
Pacific
and then,
Rim happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just see a small little cloud, just a little field model.
Yeah, in like a black expanse. It's just
Completely
like,
black background, yeah.
yeah. And we hear Tifa saying like, "Oh, Cloud," and like shouting out for him or whatever, and then trying to run after him, but his like character model like runs away, right?
Yeah, he
from
stands
this
up,
black-
he's like holding his sword, and he just starts running away from where the camera is.
This is all very like a dream sequence or
Yeah.
something not physical, metaphysical, you may even say.
Yeah, so I have screenshots here, and I see at one point like Tifa's running, and then she's on the ground. Does she trip, or does she just like fall to her
She
knees?
does trip, if I remember right.
Okay, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like a weird like trip animation.
Yeah,
after
yeah. She's
like,
chasing after
running
Cloud,
too
just-
desperately or something. Yeah.
She does what Elena does and just like turns into a little like somersault and just rolls after him.
rolling around at the speed of sound.
Yeah, but she says, so she's kind of like recounting like her, I guess her past or whatever, kind of like, because like we haven't really learned a lot about her, right?
Yeah.
Like we know, we kind of know, we know where she's from and everything, but like the game's not really narrated through her voice, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and everything that we learned about her was in flashbacks pretty much with her talking to Cloud or Cloud remembering them, and after last episode we don't know how reliable any of that is.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of feel like this is like the beginning of that, where we're like kind of getting more into her character, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But she says, and she kind of like, it's almost like starting halfway through a thought, right? She says, "I didn't know what to do. I was always like that."
Yeah.
And it goes to a flashback of the train station in Midgar.
The one that we all know and love.
The one we all know and love. The one that had those two people spinning around it or whatever.
I think it was Jesse and
yeah, Biggs and
Biggs,
Jesse.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And,
R.I.P. to real ones.
oh, man.
Truly.
I'm gonna pour one out for the Avalanche homies.
Yeah, but then we just this time around we see Cloud just kind of sitting there. The station manager guy or whatever is standing there, and there's like a dog standing there next to Cloud barking.
Yeah, just barking at him.
Rude.
Yeah, and like in the
rude's
guard's like, "Hey kid, wake up," and Cloud's just despondent. He's just like, "Ooh," and like moaning, I
Yeah.
guess. Kind of like the guy in the pipe, right? We always go back to the pipe dude.
Yeah, the earthen pipe.
Yeah, so he's he's like earthen pipe dude,
He's
which
Artsuk.
now we kind of know
A lot more
why
about-
that
yeah.
may be. Yeah.
Yeah, he was having a rough time.
Yeah.
Those trophies couldn't help him.
And Tifa finds him, right? Like this is a flashback of when she like walks up and sees Cloud just sitting there on the train station steps, right?
Yeah.
And he looks at her and goes, Tifa? Tifa, like he's like all of a sudden like remembering
Yeah,
something.
he's coming too.
And Tifa at first, like her first box of text is like just ... question marks, like who is this guy? Like saying my name, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes, "Oh, it's Cloud." And Cloud goes, "That's right. I'm Cloud."
Yeah.
So
And there's like flashes that are happening the whole time as well.
Right.
Like he's saying something.
Yeah, like
and
the
it's
whole time Cloud's been on screen, there's been that zap sound too. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Which
yeah.
is like further confusing, where it's like she sees him and like doesn't maybe doesn't recognize him, and then he's like, "Oh, Tifa," and she's like, "Wait, Cloud," and there's like all these flashes. So you're
right,
like,
because I mean, Sephiroth did say last episode that his story has been created from her memories as well.
Right,
So that's like
exactly.
something Genova can do, right?
Yeah.
So, and she says, "Is that really you, Cloud? I never thought I'd find you here." And he says, "Oh yeah, it's been a while." She says, "What happened to you? You don't look well." And he goes, "Oh yeah, that's nothing. I'm all right." And she turns around and just says, "How long has it been?" And then everything starts to go white, and Cloud like grabs his head, and it just snaps back to normal, like it didn't even happen. And he just
Yep.
says, 5 years, right? And she says, ... right? And he's like, "Oh, what is it?" And she continues on as though it's nothing. It says, "Oh, it's been a really long time." And then we hear her thoughts, and she goes, "Actually, it's been 7 years."
Yeah, which whoa.
So like immediately from the get-go, she was like, "Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Like it hasn't been 5 years, it's been 7."
Yeah, and she goes on and she says, "You joined Soldier but quit after the Sephiroth incident, and now you're a mercenary. You told me a lot about what happened after you left Nibelheim, but something was wrong. I felt there was something strange about the things you talked about. All the things you didn't know that you should, and other things you shouldn't know that you did. I wanted to make sure. But then I heard you were going far away. And then it kind of flashes again and like has like the background kind of gets dark.
Goes black
and then,
again.
Yeah, and it kind of just only shows Cloud and Tifa, like not the train station anymore. And
Right.
and she says, and I didn't want that. I didn't know what to do, so I thought I needed more time. And that's why I told you about the avalanche job. I wanted to be with you and watch you.
Oh man, that's such a good scene. It's like kind of disturbing
Yeah.
too, right? You see somebody that you haven't seen in a long time, and not only do they not remember memories they should, they know things that they wouldn't know about you. It's fucked.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
Yeah, and it kind of like flashes white again, and then we're kind
In
of
the
in a
next
new
scene.
scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's so good. And it just like reinforces what Sephiroth was telling us before, right?
Yeah, like
That,
his memories are all messed up. He's
a
got
puppet created by Hojo.
he's got the timeline wrong. Like Tifa is like noticing some strange things. I think it's also really cool too that she like you kind of see why. I feel like earlier when we were going through this, you're like, oh, okay, well, they were childhood friends. Tifa may have a thing for Cloud. She kind of
Right.
hired him as a mercenary for Avalanche, like not really just for the cause, but also because she wanted to like be around her friend. This puts it in even deeper of a thing. Like she's had like a different motive as well all along to be like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense, and I need to keep my eye on this situation. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure she's glad to see her childhood friend, but she's like, a lot of this isn't adding up, and I want to believe that everything is adding up, and this is all like just really like
Right.
you know, like fortuitous or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also like she's like kind of has her own mission that she's been keeping to herself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah.
Ugh, so good.
It also does a lot to explain her reactions in the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
absolutely.
You need to not know about this.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah,
still
yeah.
be good.
Yeah.
Like don't even think about it, Cloud. Like don't think about this too much and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Sephiroth saying, "Think, Cloud, think."
Think, Cloud. Everyone will think you're so cool if you think.
But yeah, like you were saying, though, we come up into a new scene, right?
Yeah.
And like, oh, I love the scene because I think these are like one-off screens, right?
Yeah,
Like the
and
next
it's like
couple.
everythlything's kind of like blown out, and it looks like there's like a huge glare coming in. and
What's that called on a video game? The gamma is too high.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's so much gamma.
Yeah, you boot up Dead Space and tells you to like change the slider for the darkness so that you can barely see the thing. So you just put it up as high as you can because you're like, I'm not playing.
I'm not
this
trying to
game
be scared. Yeah.
completely in the dark. No way.
Yeah, it was very washed out looking. Yeah. And yeah, like speaking of like a Dead Space thing too, though, it looks like a fucking like creepy medical facility or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not like creepy like Dead Space. It's not like there's blood everywhere or anything like that, but you're clearly like in an examination room.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're in like a stark metal room with hard shutters on the walls. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit unfriendly.
Yeah, and at first, Tifa just says like ... ding, and then Barrett is also in there. You can kind of see him through all of this glare, and he says, huh? And she says, the glare. And then Barrett says, you'll be better soon. You've been asleep for a long time. And Tifa just says like, I'm hungry. And he says, hey, why don't you ask? And then it shifts from like the way the text was where it didn't have like the dialogue box around it.
To
and then
having
it
it
has it around it, and it says about him. And then after Barrett says about him, it kind of like fades in and we actually see the room for what it is. And Tifa's
Yeah.
just laying on this like table in this like very like in you know like medical kind of like industrial looking room with
Yeah.
Barrett in the background.
Yeah. And then like what Barrett is saying is like, why aren't you asking about Cloud? Right. Like that's what he's
exactly.
and she sits up, and I think that's the thing is that like she was kind of like dazed, and as soon as he was like, why aren't you asking about him, and then we kind of see the room come into focus because now she's focused on the conversation, right?
Yeah.
And she says, because I'm scared. And Barrett says, don't worry, I don't know what happened to Cloud either, which is not a good way to get somebody not to worry.
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't worry about it. Fucking anything could have happened.
Yeah.
Although I guess literally the next line of text, though, is, I guess I shouldn't tell you not to worry. None of them know if he's all right either.
Yeah. He's just really knocking it out of the park with his bedside manner.
Yeah. She says, he's still alive, right? How long was I asleep?
And now Barrett says, let's see now. Must have been about 7 days.
Yeah.
And Tifa then asks, like, what about Sephiroth? And he says, you ain't over it yet? Remember the huge light in the northern cave? Since then, the crater's been surrounded by a huge barrier of light. Everyone knows Sephiroth sleeps in that big hole protected by the barrier. We can't do a damn thing about it. We just gotta wait till he wakes up. And on top of that, some huge monster called Weapon's been on a rampage. And Tifa goes like, Weapon?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, remember that huge monster that was with Sephiroth at the bottom of the crater? Well, it's up here now. They say it's some legendary monster from the past. And then Tifa's like trying to piece it all together. And she's like, wait, Weapon is protecting Sephiroth?
Yeah. Yeah. And Barry goes, well, I don't know, but he's going around up here tearing up stuff. Right now, Rufus is fighting it. I hate to say it, but he's got guts. We should have been the ones to destroy it, but we ain't got no time.
Yeah, and Tifa's like, time?
Yeah, and she goes, oh, hey, what about Meteor? And then we get, oh, God, what a scene. Because remember last time, too, Cloud gave the black materia to Sephiroth, and it looked like he was casting it right then and there.
Yeah.
Just like getting diffused into his like crystalline cocoon.
Tide Pod.
Cloud gave him the black Tide Pod.
Yeah, and now we have control over Tifa, and Barrett is kind of walking back to like the back of where these like windows are shuttered. And like we can walk up to him during this like little cutscene that happens.
Yeah,
here.
a cutscene again. Like I would say, just what did I say last time? Seamlessly begins.
Yeah.
And Alex was like, I don't know about seamless, and I was like, well, it's for a PS1, it's pretty damn seamless.
It's the same sort of thing where Barrett
Seamful.
he kind of just slams his hand down, and all of the shutters like open one by one, and like a light. Like a reddish light just kind of starts like
I love this so
cycle
fucking much.
like just pouring in from outside, and the sky is really like kind of gnarly looking with a lot of clouds, and the camera like
Not our cloud.
not our cloud, not the cloud we all know and love.
If only.
But the camera like shifts on like a track and like moves to show what's out the window, and then we just see right out there a giant fucking meteor. Just,
oh God,
hanging in the sky.
I know, getting ready to just coming down, very like Majora's Mask.
Doesn't
like
have
when
a
the moon's
face,
crashing.
though.
Yeah.
No, right. Also, does it have its own moon
Yeah, it's got a little something around it,
orbiting
as well.
it? Yeah, it's like
I
it's
never
so,
saw that.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
like
it's just a big maxed up material, and that's a little like baby material.
I don't know what.
That's the black materia.
The way I take it is that the meteor is so goddamn massive that it's like big enough to have its own like satellite. Like there's like a thing orbiting it.
If you look at the logo, it actually has instead of just the meteor with like the trail behind it, it also has a little like
A little dot?
Yeah,
Really?
so-
okay. The little orbity boy.
I think when we start seeing meteor is also when the song changes.
Is it?
I think it starts playing.
Walking on the sun.
Well,
Also, this thing is goddamn gnarly too. Like,
Yeah.
like it is not only like, obviously we compared it to Majora's Mask, the moon falling. Like it's a giant meteor. Like it's very close.
Yeah.
It looks like it's like it's larger in the sky than the sun is in real life, right?
Yeah.
I think it's actually less like Majora's Mask and more like Melancholia. Have you ever seen that Lars von Trier film?
I don't think
It's
so.
about a planet that's like on collision course for Earth, and everyone's just kind of coming to terms with their own death.
Damn.
And it's fucking sad.
That's the rest of this game.
But it is like you just see this glowing fucking like planet just getting closer and closer. Just it's woozy, but that's kind of what this feels like. It is looming and large.
Yeah. and it has like this fucking gnarly ass like red energy scooting around it.
yeah, it's
God,
like
It makes the
fucking
whole sky
scooting.
red. Like
It does.
Yeah.
The whole sky is just red.
hell yeah, Blood Red
so
Summer by Coheed and Cambria is
Also,
playing right
I
now.
guess
Speaking of, the new Lepros album called "Sky Is Red" is a good song on there. You should check it out.
Hell yeah.
There you
Also,
go.
Red Sky by Thrice. Our playlist on Spotify is just going to really be racking up new songs now. The kind of aura that's around it looks very similar to like in Ocarina of Time after you like wake up as adult Link and like Ganondorf has taken over the world, and Death Mountain just has that gnarly like
Yeah.
halo around it. It's like
Yeah.
the same sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's fucking cool as shit, and it looks like it's pretty damn close too.
Yeah.
Judging from how large it is in the sky, it's very like foreboding.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
very ominous.
Yeah,
it's just very large and far away.
Yeah.
yeah.
So is it just? Are we to assume it's just kind of creeping towards Earth, or Gaia? Sorry,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Is it this episode? Eventually, we do get kind of like a timeline. I can't remember if
Sephiroth
we
is
get
just
it
out
here.
back pushing it.
Yeah.
It's a JRPG, so it will stay there for as many side quests as you need to do, friend.
We just go to Bone Village and keep playing like the excavation game for 7 years,
Yeah,
and we're still
it's still not
fine.
here.
I'm just gonna feed my little Moogle buddy yet.
Yeah.
Gotta get him his date.
That's right. So the camera also goes out the window, and we see like it bearing down on Junon, which is where we are right now.
Yeah.
So that's like that's showing us where we are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Tell by the large gun.
you can tell by a large fucking cannon sticking out of it. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah. So we have Tifa and Barrett in the party now, which I know because I took a screenshot of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
look at my nice characters who I have not been using the whole time, so who are like level 31.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
I came into this in the exact same situation
Yeah.
and got saved by a surprise later.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and then like Tifa kind of is looking out the window and she just says, "Do we have to give
I love
up?"
that's her very first thing she
Yeah,
says.
she's just like, "Do we have to give up?"
Yep.
Like at that point, it's like, "Well, shit."
Yeah, is that it? I guess that's it. Yeah.
We lost.
Yeah. Yeah, Barrett just says, I don't know.
And then the end credits roll and we beat it.
Yeah.
We beat Final Fantasy VII.
We got beat by Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, and after Barrett says, "Don't know," Rufus comes walking
Oh,
in.
the door opens and Rufus walks in. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, "I thought Cloud would show up to save you all."
Oh, right. The Turks music is playing now, though.
Oh yeah, I think it switches from the like ominous music that was playing to the Turks
Yeah.
music now. And,
Yeah, I think
and
that track cues as soon as the door opens.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, ooh, Turks. I'm like, no, it's just Rufus.
Yeah, he's Turk adjacent. And he says, Professor Hojo wanted to check up on Cloud too. And then Tifa asks, What are you going to do to Cloud?" And Rufus says, "Sephiroth's alter ego."
Oh, again, just a way to describe Cloud. He's just a Sephiroth alter ego.
Yeah. And he says, "Meteor has been summoned. Essentially, it's all but over now. So, there's no need for you now. No, maybe there is an important task for you."
Oh.
Yeah.
And then Heidegger runs in and says, "President, preparations for the public execution are complete."
Yeah, and Barrett's like, "Execution? What are you gonna get by executing us?"
Rufus says, "You are to be executed for causing this situation. The people are ignorant. They'll feel better as long as someone's punished."
Yeah, and
That'll stop the meteor.
And I love what Barrett says here, where he's like, "I take back what little praise I had for this damn jackass."
I know.
Because it's like so out of character for him, like the past couple of episodes, to be like, like when you look at it a different way, maybe the Shinra's not so bad. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
like Rufus has got guts fighting the weapon, and then he's like, "You motherfucker!"
Yeah, you son of a bitch. Rufus says, "Well, enjoy your last moments together." Which, like, we don't get any time
Yeah.
at all, because
Nope.
Heidegger immediately is just like, "I'll tie your arms now."
Yep.
And we're marching, like we're in control of Barrett now, marching to the execution chamber. Which
Is this the only point in the game that we actually get to control Barrett on screen?
And so far, I think it is.
Maybe.
Like this is, I think, the first time. I can't
Yeah.
remember if it happens later in the game or not, but
this may be it.
I don't remember it happening again, because when I loaded up this save file to do it again, I was like, oh, that's strange.
Yeah.
Every time we get to use a different model, I always get really excited. Like, even if it's like Cloud with a sword out, I'm like, "Oh, Cloud with a sword out! How exciting! Let me run around and act like a goof for a second."
But he's got a new
Oh my
hat.
God.
but he's got a new hat.
I have to say, when he said, "What are you executing us for?" because of how he spelt it, I was reminded of that one. I don't even know the context, but it was a panel from a Popeye comic where he's just running home like, "I gotta go make love to olive oil before I get executed."
Oh my god.
So our last moments together.
Also, let's talk about like
The
where.
politics of Popeye.
Let's talk about where the fucking holding cell is that they kept us in. It's like right next to fucking mission control.
It's just
'Cause,
like,
the
right?
door that
Like
we
you-
walk. Yeah, the door we walk out of is like. I think that's what it is. It's mission control. It's like a whole bunch of desks with like.
Yeah, you're like the infirmary like in the main like office, which we see Rufus hanging out again later. It's just full of computer desks with CRT monitors.
And like they're that color that CRT monitors for computers were in the early 90s,
Yeah.
like that, like off-white, that like eggshell white.
before they turn yellow.
Yeah. Well, I feel like like looking at it seems like they're maybe even beginning the yellowing process.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Well, they're
yo,
right
that's-
there in the sun. There's a big old window, right? Yeah.
And then
Right.
they got a meteor bearing down on it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a bit, like I said, to me it reminds me of almost like a NASA mission control.
Yeah.
Except instead of like a large screen up front, there's just a large bay window looking out over the ocean.
Right.
Right. And I'm assuming this is like above the cannon, because when you look at the outside of Junon, it does seem like there's like a little room or like
I
a
think we'll
bridge.
find out later that you can kind of guess by
Yeah, you can kind of guess
Okay.
later on.
Oh,
where-
yeah.
the
where it
layout
is.
of everything.
Okay.
But you're not really escorted to the next area. You're just like wandering around loose.
Yeah,
which is
you're
fine.
blocked off from going everywhere else.
It's just
but-
funny. It's like imagine going to like the you're in a prison. Like, all right, time now. Let me tie your hands and like meet us there in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're allowed to like run up and down like the fucking prison hall. Like, you can't go anywhere, you can't escape, but you can just like run around like a goof.
There's invisible walls everywhere.
Yeah.
You're entitled to one last jog.
Do some squats.
And here's where the save point is too.
Yeah, you walk into the next room and there's just a save point, and you're like, "Huh, this seems like a good place to save."
Yeah, and I do like there
where I
is a Shinra guard marching Tifa to the execution chamber.
Yeah.
But I guess Barrett didn't look like he would be any trouble, so they just let him walk on his own.
Yeah.
There's
They're like,
sort
"Who,
of
that
one
guy?
that
He's
like
fine."
comes on screen after you every screen, but he's not like pushing you or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, and I get like, again, it's a video game, so they couldn't do anything about this. Whatever, it's fine. But like, Barrett's arm is a fucking gun.
Yeah, but
Like-
it's tied behind him now.
Yeah, but I don't know, man.
Like hopped off and like.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering. I was like, couldn't he just take his fucking arm off and just be like,
Or it could be that you have the chainsaw equipped, so he's just.
I did have the chainsaw equipped, actually, believe it or not.
Which, yeah, like, then why couldn't he just cut through his, like,
Yeah.
bindings with it?
I was like, he's the most dangerous one to not be escorted. He literally could just still shoot from here.
I think it kind of just shows how badass Tifa is, where they're like, oh no, we gotta escort this one because, like, she doesn't even, like, she could take off her gloves and still be deadly. Like, that doesn't really, like, she's just punching everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
and
until later.
yeah.
Yeah.
And right here, I want to go ahead and do this now because this is where it was in my fucking screenshots. So, Alex, you can take this later and put it in a different place if you want to. It doesn't matter. I forgot about it, and here it is in my fucking screenshots.
You're talking to me, right?
I am talking to you, yes. I'm ready to bring back a segment, boys.
Boys?
Oh, shit.
Boys, I'm ready to bring back a segment, boys.
Oh, yeah, boys?
Do you want to do some Tifa's piano time, boys?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, can we do that right now with the Skype audio and everything?
Yeah, we got
Yeah, we can. Book, yeah. I guess I'll just turn it all the way up.
Here we go.
Okay.
T-first
I
piano.
liked that little remix. I was like,
Yeah. So I'd like to apologize in advance for playing what I thought was kind of a bop from the 90s of someone who later has become like a fucking right-wing nut job or whatever. But whatever, we all knew the song from the 90s, so it's fine.
That'll happen.
Kind of. That'll fucking happen.
ain't that just the way?
Anyway, I thought I'd fucking put some fucking pumpkins down on it. All right, it's just that. But
Oh, yeah.
Today is the greatest.
That's really
I'm going
funny.
on Alex Jones.
That's really funny because when
Talk about the band.
in high school, I was in a band with some friends, and we just did some like cover songs, and that was one of them.
Really?
And anytime we were practicing, like that was like the one song that I started out. So they would be like, "Oh, what song should we practice next? Like, do you guys want to do that Foo Fighters song or whatever?" And we'd be like, "Oh, let's do this." And I would just play the intro, and then we would all play it. And then every other song, I would just play that riff again to the point where like all of my bandmates started hating that song. They're like, "We don't even want to play this anymore because you will not stop making that stupid joke."
Anyway, okay, I'm sorry.
It's kind of like when I would start, when I was in a Nine Inch Nails tribute band, we would start that song "Every Day Is Exactly the Same." We start with the piano intro, but it has the same first note as Black Parade. So, so I would start.
Do, do, do. And like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. That was
Cool.
right there for whatever reason.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Perfect segue. But yeah, so we're kind of just like following.
Speaking of downward spiral, there's a downward staircase, right here. And we see a beautiful statue.
Yeah, there's
Oh yeah.
Of
What is
what?
that?
Yeah.
It's a gold statue of a figure. I think, is he holding a gun or is it like, is there a staff?
Or maybe a sword?
I think he's unsheathing a sword. And I say he like I
He's
know
one of the
it's
founding
gender, but I
fathers
don't.
of. He might be the founding father of Shinra.
Or Junon? I don't know.
He could be Grandpa Shinra for all we know.
More importantly, there's a really cool banner on the wall that just says Canon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
It's canon.
Yeah, it's only got one end, so they're just saying that this part of the game is canon.
Okay, check this out. So the next room is just a very, very short hallway, right? And there are two guards. I guess it's a cross between two hallways, right?
Yeah.
Like we're kind of walking from one side to the other, not down the hallway.
Yeah.
And there are guards blocking us so that we can't run away, right?
Yeah.
But speaking of Barrett and his handcuffs, if you talk to one of the guards,
Oh my god, I didn't even notice this when I'm looking at my screenshot.
they say you can't pass. But while their text box is up, Barrett doesn't have handcuffs on.
His arms just fall to his side. Yeah.
Yeah, his hands just fall to his side. He's fine. Barrett, take this chance. This is it. This is the one.
As long as you don't keep talking to people, you're invincible.
God, that's so funny.
But I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, like, basically we just walk from the infirmary or where the school nurse's office or whatever
Into
down
like
to
a
where we
school
are now.
auditorium.
Yeah, and like there's invisible walls everywhere. Some of the soldiers you can't even really talk to. These three all just say you can't pass, and we just make it into the next room, which is like the last spot that we need to be in.
Right.
And it's got like chairs set up, and there's like
It's a press room.
yeah, it's a press room.
They're
There's
all
like
like shitty folding chairs.
shitty folding chairs,
Yeah, yeah.
nice little like stage lights that are just like blue shining
Yeah.
down and stuff.
And what is on the table at the front of the room? Like I was trying to figure out what those are. Are those knives or like
Microphones.
I think those are
microphones?
microphones.
Oh yeah, like this is like a little.
Oh, yeah,
it's a
they're,
parent-teacher conference.
yeah.
Those are Wiimotes.
There's a stand that has multiple microphones on it on the bottom right, so I can see how that it does look kind of confusing and weird. But it's like how I think it's how there'll be multiple news networks will be
Right.
like doing an interview, and you'll have all of the different mics from the different
Oh right,
networks.
there are cameras around. So this is maybe like what they have their like a big presidential announcements and stuff, like a press.
And it looks like there are some like members of the press here.
Yeah, it's
This is
absolutely.
where
a
those
press room.
the Sean Spicer.
I was gonna say Scarlet is the Sean Spicer of Final Fantasy VII.
She's gonna have a reawakening after all this goes down, where she gets to go on Dancing with the Stars, and everyone's like, "Ah, it's fine. That was like
Yeah,
forever
God,
ago."
yeah.
Like,
And
No,
we'll
that's
look
not
back in
cool.
her. We'll look back in her Twitter and see fucking pictures of her hanging out with Naruto cosplayers. Anyway, that happened.
oh my god.
Which actually, I mean,
no.
that's fine. I would hang out with Naruto cosplayers, whatever.
It's okay.
But
Werner Herzog did too.
Pretty sure we have.
that's true. Yeah, I mean, can I tell another story about
Hell
me and
yeah.
Alex Wimmer? A little
yeah.
side story.
Oh, yay, let's go.
Do you remember fucking that time that we went to an anime convention, and while we were there, we're like, yeah, let's just do a panel. Why not? Because there's space open, and so we went to be like Pokemon masters and to talk about competitive
did.
battling.
Yeah, we did. You were playing a show at this convention, and we just knew the organizer and was like, yeah, just give us a slot. And we acted like we knew what we were doing. It was
I know. And do you remember that and so to be clear, Alex Wimmer and I know quite a bit about competitive Pokemon battling. But when we did the panel, there was absolutely some dude dressed as Professor Oak who knew way fucking more than we did.
Well, yeah, because he's the professor.
pretty good.
I know.
He has a doctorate in Pokemon.
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, oh shit, this is the real Pokemon master. What the fuck?
If you go up to him and hand him a Game Boy printer, he will print you out your diploma
Yeah.
for catching all 150 Pokemon.
I also feel like this was like maybe 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
And so
it would have
fucking...
been. Curtis, we didn't meet until 2013.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Whatever.
'Cause we didn't
Now,
actually
hold
meet
on.
till break one.
So
That's fair.
I'm getting a real Tifa Cloud vibe going on here. Curtis is like, that
Actually, it
was
was-
5 years ago. And Wimmer's like,
Actually,
that
it
was
was
7
7.
years ago.
But I just remember it was the perfect time for everyone to be saying swag, and I absolutely caught the virus there. I was like,
yeah.
swag.
Yeah, we should bring that back. Everyone starts saying swag again.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what to say.
If there's any reason, bring GMC Faux Show back.
There we go. Yeah.
True.
Yep.
True.
So here we are in the press room.
That's right.
There's some guards. There's some pressy, and then it looks like
There's
Palmer looks a little different this time.
Yeah, so
There's
there's
a totally conspicuous, totally normal
Can
looking
I'm going to be honest with y'all. I never noticed it until this playthrough. Really? Yeah. So the room is full of reporters, right? Cameramen, reporters. Scarlett's there, and immediately she just launches into
Is everyone here?
yeah. Is everyone here? These are the ones who brought this madness into the world. So she's broadcasting.
No housekeeping or anything. Like forever,
Yeah.
keep her flat. Equal keep them in. We have to do
Well, they-
2 questions for each.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Well,
we have 30
but
minutes. Like
amongst the reporters, like y'all were saying, there's one individual who looks very short and portly, and their head is coming out of the front of their jacket.
Yeah. It looks
Very
like they're
egg-like.
It looks like they're wearing a trench coat, like two little kids like on
Wearing-
each
yeah.
other's shoulders
That's
trying to get into a PG-13
That's exactly
movie.
what it is. Yeah.
Literally.
it's,
And,
Totoro, it's Totoro in a trench coat.
Yeah, and I just thought it was some weird shaped reporter until literally this playthrough, and I was like, oh, He's right there. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil it. We'll get there when we get there. But
if you look at a picture of it, you'll know instantly.
I know, because I'm dumb.
They don't hide this reveal very long.
No.
I think
reveal in the biggest air quotes I've ever made.
I think it's intentional too. Like they could easily just do the thing that they did in when we were on the ship and everything, where everyone was like just a different field model, and they were like, by the way, it's Aerith or whatever. Like,
right.
We'll get some more of that.
I think it's more for comedy. Like there's been a lot of dark shit going on.
Well, and there's a lot of stuff in this room. There's a
Yeah.
lot of chairs. There's
Easy
a lot of
to
people.
overlook.
So yeah, you might not even see this
Yeah.
character model. I feel like I don't think I even saw it. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, Barrett says, "The hell are these people?" And Scarlet says, "We will be broadcasting your miserable deaths live on national television," which I guess is international television if Shinra owns all the different cities.
Yeah.
It's like both. Anyway, and the conspicuous reporter.
It says large man in the script.
Is this a large man? The large man holds out a microphone.
Largeman.
Yeah, Thomas Largeman holds out a microphone and says, "Scarlet, why a let me do my radio voice. Scarlet, why a public execution in this day and age?"
Yeah, and then Scarlet says, "With the chaos resulting from the meteor reports, we desperately need to rally public support. It's better that we punish somebody, anybody."
Which is wild to admit on the
To a reporter.
yeah, like that's a thing that you
On
wouldn't say to
national radio, on
Yeah,
national television.
Yeah.
We're doing this just for the good ratings. That's all. That's all. Okay.
Well,
Everyone, chill out.
God,
They're
it's
just completely mask off.
I mean, like Shinra's the only media, right? Like,
Yeah.
they can just do what the hell ever they feel like at this point. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, world's gonna end. We're just killing these people to make you feel better. Maybe, hopefully that works.
I know.
God, wouldn't it suck if like we lived in a world where like corporations got to own media
I was gonna
outlets?
say. I was getting
like,
ready to say, admitting it 100% publicly. There's still less obvious than Fox News.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tifa says, "You make me sick." And she,
what's the guy's name? Rupert Murdoch. You make me sick.
Rupert Murdoch, you make me sick. Don't come on the podcast and defend yourself. Scarlet just does her laugh. It says, "They'll never admit it, but everyone loves this stuff." Which, again, you're being recorded. You're on national television right now.
Yeah, and she says,
Well, are they recording right now?
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah, they are, because of something I'm going to point out in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, Scarlet says, "We'll start with this girl." And then Barrett says, "If you got to do it, take me first." And he starts like ska skanking, which I think he's struggling is what's going on. But I was like,
he dabs and he skanks.
yeah, he dabs.
It
and he
reminds
skanks.
me. It reminds me of Red's walk from when he was in disguise.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult to skank on 2 feet.
But yeah,
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it
yeah.
up.
But the thing I was gonna say is, like, as soon as he says that, one of the cameramen runs in and gets real up in his face with the camera while he's struggling. So I was like, yeah, they're definitely recording right now.
Yeah.
Because he's grabbing that and being like, "Oh shit, this is really good." This dude's like freaking out, and like it is really fucking sick.
Yeah.
Right? Like this dude's genuinely having a real moment of like, "Oh my god, they're literally going to kill one of my friends like right now."
Well, Scarlet points it out right away too, right? She's like, "Oh yeah, I get those tears on camera."
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says, "Make sure you get this. The audience just eats up tearful goodbyes."
Yeah. So this is it's real fucked, man. It's this whole the whole thing is very disturbing. Like yeah. I guess the last several episodes have been like kind of disturbing, but this is like getting into like fucking like hostile territory, I guess, or whatever. Yeah, it's real odd. But
I got bad news for you, Curtis. The game doesn't get happier from here.
yeah. Well, I think by the end of this episode we maybe have a little
think
reprieve.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a breather.
Small one. Yeah.
It still feels like Empire Strikes Back at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
it does.
and then anytime you go into the world map, which we'll talk about.
We'll get there.
Oh God, yeah.
So they walk, and by they I mean a Shinra guard and Scarlet walk Tifa into this room, right? And like they haven't said yet how they're going to be executing everybody.
Yeah.
Executing
everybody, but they walk her into this small, like dimly lit room. There's like one light on the ceiling that's just over top of this chair that has all these tubes coming from it, right?
Yeah.
And they walk in. The guard walks in first. Tifa walks in behind the guard, and Scarlet walks in behind Tifa. and she just stops and like looks at the chair and stands there, and fucking Scarlet just pushes her, just like shoves her like straight up. It's real fucked.
Yeah, Tifa says, "What are you doing?" And then Scarlet goes up to her and she says, "This is my special gas chamber. Take your time and enjoy a slow, painful death."
Yeah, and then
This is the one I save for guests.
yeah, my personal one.
And the guard comes up and takes off of Tifa's like shackles.
Yeah, right.
And then Scarlet pushes her into
Just
the
fucking
chair.
shoves her right into the chair, and she
Yeah.
like shoves her so hard she like goes off of her feet. She like goes up into the air and then back into the chair.
Yep.
Yeah, and
It
then
feels
they
like she like hits her head or something too, because
Yeah,
she
like-
kind of slumps in the chair
Yeah.
while they tie her arms back into it.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and Scarlet says stuck up zoinks.
Yeah, she stuck up zoinks,
And then she
smacks her right in the face.
What an asshole.
God, dude, it's so brutal, man. This is a very dark scene.
Yeah, because I mean, it's also, you can tell that there's a lot of like, it's not just like, oh,
Is
we're
this just
doing
for the camera?
Yeah, but it's also like I feel like it's like personal too, where Scarlet like has this. I mean, obviously they're enemies and they've been enemies for the whole game and everything. But
Yeah.
like I get the feel like Scarlet.
Scarlet's being like real personal with Tifa. Like it feels weird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah,
Yep. And then Scarlet and the guard walk out of the room.
But you hear a little dink.
Yeah, you do hear like a little boop. Like I guess the door is locked. Is that what that
No,
is?
the key falls.
Oh, yeah, you
that's
can actually
right.
you can
You're
actually see it
fucking right.
as the guard's walking out. You just hear the little ding, and there's just a tiny little key sitting on the floor in like just out of reach of like.
Yeah, Tifa can't
Tifa.
reach it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. The fucking guard.
I forgot how goofy and cartoony that is.
I know.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have it on a keychain or anything.
It's
yeah,
like-
he just
Just a
drops
loose
it right
key.
in there.
I love when
I
video
wonder
games,
what will happen.
Just had a hole in his pocket.
I love when video games do shit like this. Like at the end of Resident Evil 3, after you beat one of the boss fights, you're like trapped in a room that's on lockdown, and then like right when you beat like the Nemesis boss fight that you're doing or something, there's just like a little cutscene of like a corpse that has like a lab coat on, and the key card falls out of the pocket. Then like you get that to escape through. It's like what,
How would it do that? Yeah.
like what if it didn't fall? Then
Yeah,
you're just
yeah.
stuck there.
Yeah. So they walk out, and Scarlet says, "Well, now, show's about to begin." And then a fucking alarm starts going off immediately, like this whoop, whoop, you
Yep.
know. Alex, if only you had your megaphone.
Oh, it's okay. I'll put it in post.
Okay, great.
I have the sound effect already. We've used it before.
And
Yeah, and the lights are kind of flashing different colors, like
Right.
red and
And that urgent hurry music starts playing.
yeah.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. Yeah. Oh, I actually wrote it down in my notes. The music for this whole next section fucking rules. Like,
Yeah.
I love this tune so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it just says like there's just like an announcement coming over the loudspeaker that just says emergency, emergency, weapons approaching, attention all military personnel, take your positions.
And then I feel like this text is like the general vibe of everybody in that room.
Yeah.
They're all like, "Oh no, it's a weapon!
And they
run!"
they all get up and just fucking book it. Like,
It's Old Man Johnson. Scatter! Yeah. They all fucking run. Yeah.
And Scarlet's not pleased at all.
No, she's like, what? Yeah, she's like, "Hey, all of you!" Like,
Yeah.
like you're supposed to be watching my fucking execution, you cowards. Yeah.
You're ruining the show for everyone.
Yeah. And she says, "Damn it, why now?"
Yeah.
And the
A breakdown now.
the portly reporter. No, it was
Thomas Largeman.
Tom Largeman. Yeah, walks up and like puts the microphone in her face again and says, "How does it feel now, Scarlet?" And she I guess she doesn't get it, but she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, so you didn't run? I'm impressed. Well, how do I feel right now?" And all of a sudden, like gas comes out of the fucking microphone and knocks her out.
A classic Joker's trick. Yeah, and then Barrett says, "Huh? Sleeping gas?" And like Scarlet's just like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
and like falls over. And then Thomas Largeman spins around, and oh my god, it was Kate Sith
It's
the
Kate
whole time.
Sith. Whoa.
My precious boy.
Hey, okay, you remember I was texting everybody and saying I'm gonna ruin Final Fantasy for everybody?
Yeah.
Last week. All right, I'm gonna do it right now.
Okay.
Which maybe like, it's probably information that only I don't know, and so like everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck, Curtis? You didn't know that?" And I'm like, "Well, I thought it was big." Or it just won't be very big, and everybody will be surprised and be like, "Oh yeah, but," and I think that's probably what we'll do.
Or you'll actually ruin it.
Or actually ruin it. How do you pronounce that character's name?
Oh, hey. Yeah, I was going to bring this to your attention if you did not.
Hey, there we go.
Wait,
Okay.
Kate Sith?
How
How do I pronounce Kate Sith?
Incorrect.
Is it
Incorrect.
Is it Cat Sith?
Wait, hold on, Alex. How do you think it might be pronounced? If not,
He's
I would think so.
Googling.
No, I thought it was Kate Sith too.
Yo, what if I told you it was Ketchi?
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it's pronounced Ketshi.
I mean, in Japanese it is. Ketoshi.
No, so,
Ketoshi.
Ketoshi? Yeah, Ketshi.
Ketshi.
Yeah. So Ketshi is actually it's like some piece of Gaelic folklore that FF has actually pulled from before for a couple enemies. It's like a cat fairy. Like, that is what this is. It's a little trickster cat. Yeah.
Oh.
Because you remember, like, the reason I brought this up is after the last episode, I was talking with Alex and Carl and saying I've been playing Bravely Default, and one of the very first enemies is the Ketshi, and I was like, how do you... So that's a thing, then. That's not something they made up if it's in multiple games. So let me see how to pronounce it, and it's fucking Ketshi. Everybody's on their computer right now.
My mind is fucking blown.
I'm looking up, like, the whole fucking... Or I can't see... No.
Kate would be pronounced somewhere between ket and the English word kite, and means cat, while Sith is pronounced she, meaning demon.
And it's the original ending for the word banshee, as a matter of fact.
Banshee.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Holy shit, Ketshi.
Ketshi.
Fuck.
Now here's the thing. Now here it could all fall apart right here, depending. I don't know. Okay, there are at least 2 more pieces of Final Fantasy VII media that come later and are voice acted, right? That have this character in them.
Yeah. Give us the remake now, you cowards.
It's the movie.
And the planet.
Yeah.
Also a piece choice of media y'all get to enjoy at some point. Dirge of Cerberus.
I fucking loved that game when I played it the first time. I'll admit it.
So, and that's the thing is, this character's in both of those.
And it's definitely referred to. It's been a long time since I watched Children.
But do they say the name? Like, because like if you're talking to this character, I don't usually like look at you and go, Carl, hello. Before everything I say, I'm just like, what's up? So I don't even know if they actually say it. But yeah, isn't that fucked?
God damn. Curtis is like,
don't
finally.
You like him better now?
It's like, finally, Carl blew my mind with the Aerith, like, deep lore within the game files.
Yeah,
it's my payback. Holy shit, that got me shook.
So leave us a 5-star review and let us know if it's Kate Sith or Ketshi.
We need some Irish guests on.
It's actually Case Sis.
Case Sith.
I don't know.
Well, I ruined the podcast.
Successfully broke my brain.
I brought everything to a screeching halt. I did it.
Hell yeah. Holy shit.
I will say, this guy showing up was really great for me because I played through this entire game with him in my party. So he was nice and beefy at this point.
I remember you saying that, and I was like, oh, I actually thought about it when it happened. I was like, I bet Alex Wimmer is having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I don't think you had to use, I'm just going to call him Kate Sith. For now, just because it's gonna that'll trip me up way too much. Maybe next week I'll pronounce it differently. I don't know, but
this is the point where we have to watch the fucking movie. I can't believe it.
Yeah, but I don't think I've used Kate Sith at all. Like yet, I don't think you've had to. Like it hasn't been a mandatory thing yet.
No, I don't think it's been. I don't think he's been forced in your party at all yet.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And then when I got to this part where, like, I didn't even have any materia or anything, and I haven't upgraded it, like, equipped a new weapon or anything for him, and he still did pretty good. Like,
yeah, he still did pretty well for me.
Yeah, also, so the thing with Ket is he's got a pretty freaking high base HP, I noticed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And a pretty good base magic stat. So he was
sweet.
He was my magic guy, just throwing comets everywhere. And then
nice.
Dice gets very good because it scales with your level.
Yes.
So end game, it's pretty easy to do 9999 with it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I will say that like I only had the 3 dice, and I was still able to do upwards like 3,000 HP damage to everybody on screen. Wow. So like he still did a lot of damage.
Weird. Yeah, by end game he was throwing like 6 dice at a time, and that gets wild.
Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah,
I think I had 4 dice, and then like was only doing between like 1,500 and like 2,400.
I must have just got good rolls.
Yeah, well, I'm notoriously bad at.
God
rolling,
bless RNGesus.
Yeah, it is interesting because at lower levels, because if you roll doubles, it increases. Like the more duplicates of a number you roll in the dice, the bigger it gets a multiplier. So you like it. Their math gets weird down there, but there's a yeah.
Sweet.
So while you're all talking, I was looking at the Advent Children's script to see if anyone actually says Kate Sith's name, and nobody does.
Oh my god!
As it
he shows up in the last battle, and nobody addresses him by name.
Wow.
So to save us from watching that movie for no reason.
Such disrespect.
Yeah, it's very disrespectful.
Yeah, so man,
he ain't getting no respect.
Now read the Japanese.
Well,
script.
I guess they know his name
Oh,
at
right.
that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could actually be
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That's
true.
probably it.
Yeah, don't look it up.
Largeman.
Largeman.
Donald Duck.
Thomas Donald Duck.
what if I
Alex
was like-
Wimmer, you're
Oh,
a
no.
guest on the podcast. Say Sephiroth in Donald Duck's voice.
This is really hard because I've had allergies.
Sephiroth.
There we go. All right.
Pretty good.
Was not good, but here we go.
We'll get it. We'll crack it someday.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
Who is the voice of? It's not Lance Bass, is it? Is it
In Advent Children? No, it's
Not
someone
Donald
different.
Duck. No,
it's
it's not.
Donald Duck in Advent Children.
All right.
Wait, no, I was talking about Kingdom Hearts. The Lance Bass is Sephiroth, right?
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So I tell you what,
Not-
for the
not-
remainder of this episode, we can continue to use Kate Sith or Ketchi, whatever we want.
Yeah, whatever.
And then we'll find out in the interim of like between this episode and next week's episode, like if there's a pronunciation in Dirge of Cerberus.
Okay, yeah.
And if not, fucking all bets are off. It's whatever we want.
I think it's Aerith.
Anyway,
Where were we?
Kate Sith
Larson-
knocks out Scarlet.
Ketchi says, "Hey now."
And then we're in a battle with the Shinra guards who are holding Barrett.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
Because they see what happened. They see Scarlet get knocked out. With
They're
that
like,
sleeping
hey, that's
gas.
not allowed.
Hey, that's not allowed. Against the rules.
Yeah.
And so we're in a battle with them, and they're just Attack Squad A. Or, I'm sorry, Attack Squad. I guess A and B. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's
A and 1.
A and 1. Is Attack Squad, is that the same character that we fought in Wu Tai? Remember?
I think so.
I think
the
it's the same.
name.
It's definitely
the
the same model.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're the red
Yeah.
soldiers, more
Yeah.
or less, right?
yeah.
I know the word squad was used before, and I think it was probably just Attack Squad.
Yeah, I think so.
So you can steal an 8-inch cannon from them, which I think just
Is that a
Boom!
Village. Sorry, continue, please.
I'm trying to see in my screenshots where. Oh, it's way out there. Well, I'll talk about what that's used for. It's just like one of those consumable items that does an attack. I forget.
Okay.
I think it just does
Yeah.
like an explosion attack to one
Okay.
enemy.
Yeah, if I remember right, it's like a non-elemental
Yeah,
just
yeah,
damage thing. Yeah. Like the grenade and other
Exactly,
stuff like that. Yeah.
So once we win the battle, and like you were saying, Alex Wimmer, guest Alex, that
Just pronounce mine with an interrobang. Just
Alex. Oh wait, no, the interrobang is the question mark. That's right, Alex. Yeah, so this can be. You were saying that you had levels into Kate Sith. God damn it, I really ruined this whole episode. This is fucked.
Yes.
And Carl was saying like, oh, I didn't have any materia. I hadn't equipped these characters or whatever. Or I guess you equip Barrett. But,
Yeah. Barrett was strapped.
So this was actually like kind of tough for me. It took
Yeah.
several hits to take these guys down. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it was kind of tough. I'm
the
not gonna
enemies
lie.
get a lot tougher here too, like tougher than most of these like type of enemies that we fought before.
And I have like my characters were like in the early 30s, and Cloud was like level 51 or 52. Like,
Yeah.
So I mean, like I'm real far down right now. I'm kind of in the weeds.
yeah.
Yeah, I had Ket in his 40s and holding an enemy skill, so this battle lasted exactly one beta.
I just used Comet 2.
There you go. So Ket says, "I'm here to help," and Barrett goes, "Why ain't you a part of Shinra?"
Yeah, and Ket says, "Let's just say I'm against capital punishment. Besides, I hate this
this
broad.
broad.
Come on, we gotta help Tifa." Which, come on.
Yeah.
I know she
Yeah.
sucks, but that's still kind of a problematic term.
He had a heated gaming moment.
I love Ket dearly, but they really fuck this whole episode up.
Yeah.
With, like saying
is-
things they shouldn't and not telling people things they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ket says, "I'll keep watch at the entrance." And because I assume he's going to go watch the entrance, and Barrett is going to try to break Tifa out of the gas chamber.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
And Scarlet, who's I guess knocked out but still conscious,
Yeah,
she's on the ground.
yeah, the sleeping gas or whatever it was is she's still like
Which
woozy.
I guess if she doesn't have like weapons on her and like fucking Barrett and Ket are in the room, she's not going to be able to do anything anyway. So she might just be laying there being like, well, fuck y'all. Like, you can kill me if you want, but y'all still fucked. And she says, fools, I've already pushed the switch.
Yeah, and then you go up to the door and you have to like interact with it.
Yeah, you can be Barrett again right here.
Yeah, so you run up as Barrett and you interact with the door and you can kind of like tug on it, but it's like not budging. Like if you move the joystick, like Barrett looks like he's like trying to like break in.
Barrett straight up says it won't open.
Yeah,
and we
It's
actually
probably really hard to get a grip with a gun arm.
yeah, true.
You're right. He's probably doing it with one arm.
It's hard to grip with one arm.
Unless he had like I'm just thinking. Well, that wouldn't help either. I was thinking of the boxing mitt that you can get equip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking of all those strong bad jokes about.
Once you said boxing mitt, my mind also went to strong bad.
So off of this, we kind of flash away to a different scene, right?
Yeah.
And we're back in that like
CRT room.
the CRT room, yeah. And Heidegger he's like running up toward the window where Rufus is standing there, right?
Yeah.
And
there's a nice healthy red glow coming in through the window.
Yeah, that's very true. And Heidegger says it's weapon. Rufus says there's been so many attacks lately. Can we handle it? And I like Heidegger's like pretty honest about it. He's just like, I believe so.
Yeah.
Like he's not 100%.
Yeah, he's not like, oh yeah, we're gonna kill. Yeah, he's just like,
probably, yeah. Your orders?
We got a big gun.
yeah. Well, yeah. And speaking of which, Rufus says no need to ask, and Heidegger goes, "We'll give it a shot from our big cannon."
woo.
He doesn't even have a cool name for it, which
I
feel
know
like
it will get one.
Yeah.
But,
it looks like
Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does get a name.
Well,
Actually,
no,
no, wait,
we
it's already on
forgot.
there. It's already on there. We see it today.
It's a weird thing where I don't think they mention it until
don't.
later.
Yeah, later.
And I
on.
think
Oh,
it might be
yeah,
a translation thing too, where they like say that they named the cannon suddenly, but like in this scene we see it.
Yeah, we'll actually see the name. Yeah. So Heidegger says, "Open cannon doors. Activate cannon. Target weapon." And like three like sailors, like run up in front of him, salute him, and then run away to go do it. And we get this fucking ballin' fucking cutscene. It's like
This
F&B.
cutscene is so good.
they have like blast doors all along the streets just suddenly go up, covering all the.
So when we were on the Junon episode, remember we were talking about how like Junon's kind of like a bunch of row homes on different levels.
apartment buildings, complexes.
yeah.
Apartment buildings. Yeah. And like, yeah, like you said, all of the fucking apartment buildings have like fucking blast shields on the front. They go like, they like come up from the ground, they're like, whoosh, and like snap into place.
Which I have to
fucking
wonder,
love.
was the town already evacuated? Because it would really suck if you were just about to go and get home. When the blast shield
Now,
goes.
I will say, this is what I thought about this a little bit, right? And this is what I assume is going on here,
Everyone's
right?
staying inside, weapons on the loose.
I think when the alarm goes off, everybody knows to go home because the weapon's getting ready to
Yeah.
attack and the blast doors come up. And I was thinking like, well, why would the blast doors be there? But when the cannon does fire in a second, like there's a giant goddamn explosion where the shell would be.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that would fuck you up if he was standing right next to it.
Yep.
Maybe it's just acoustic dampening.
It's probably
really loud.
both. Like it's a big explosion. Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
is big gun.
Yeah. So we see this gun.
But it is like the Shadow Dome from Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
It's just like these big fucking walls just going up.
Yeah, it's baller, and we see like the cannon getting ready, right? And we go back to Rufus and Heidegger, and one of the sailors says, "Preparations complete. The cannon, fire!" And then we actually see the cannon.
But this
go ahead.
I love Heidegger does this kind of like cool like bowling motion. He like does like fire. His arm goes around
and away we go.
It's like take it away, like underarming, like pointing, like it's so weird. Like looks like he's getting really like into it.
Now I'm just thinking of John Goodman from The Big Lebowski. When you're talking about a big guy with a beard, like wearing green.
Yeah.
and
Dude, John
doing a
Goodman would be
bowling.
so good for Heidegger.
He would be real good.
Him just
Oh,
screaming
man.
out weapon. This is what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps.
But yeah, so we see the cannon discharge, right?
Yeah.
Boom, big fucking flash of fire, a giant fucking like molten shell just like firing out into the ocean.
Yeah.
And like right now, we're assuming weapon is submerged, right? Because they're just
Yeah.
firing at the fucking blank ass ocean. Like we haven't seen anything.
Right.
But they know weapons coming in. So I guess they have like sensors and
Yeah.
shit to show that
And
weapons
to
coming
be clear, there are multiple weapons, right?
Yeah,
yes.
there are.
Yes.
But they still
Yes.
call it just weapon singular.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
They start referring to them more by name a little later.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Does this one
But
get
yeah.
a name?
It doesn't. It doesn't get a name. There's a name in, like, I think it's a fan name that's given to it,
Right.
Or it might be in like Ultimania, the indexes or something
Yeah.
like some like
Record Keeper, Final Fantasy
Yeah.
mobile record
what
keeper
name
or
is that?
whatever.
the sapphire weapon.
Yeah.
That matches the naming convention for
Yeah.
the most
Yeah, yeah.
part. Yeah.
And I think Well, I'll get there when we get there. Okay, so it fires the shell. The shell hits the water and causes just a big old splash.
Yeah.
And, like, because this shell is like a whole building's width, like, in size.
Yeah, it's enormous. And when it hits, like, there's like an explosion, and then like a bunch of like giant waves come like rippling out. Like it's more than just like one ripple. Like, it does it a bunch of times.
Next scene is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Because, like, when the cannon fires, the music stops.
Yeah.
Right? And you just see the shell, and you're like, and the camera's right behind the shell. It's going with the shell out into the ocean, right?
Yeah.
It hits, explodes, and it's just total silence. And you see Rufus, Heidegger, and the sailor.
Heidegger still has his arm out.
Yeah. But they're just standing there in silence. And there's like 3 or 4 seconds where they're just looking at the window. Everybody's completely silent.
Yeah.
It flashes over to 2 Shinra standing out underneath some second artillery, like on like the docks and stuff. And they're completely silent.
Yeah.
And like the camera's like real close to them. It's a real action shot. You know?
And then it pans to one more thing where you see like the whole cannon and just like a street level thing. And there's like a bunch of soldiers just kind of standing there and just waiting.
Silent. Just waiting to see.
As cool as this scene is, it is definitely shot like a Shinra propaganda film. Like,
oh, 100%.
And then after enough, it goes back to Rufus and Heidegger, and after enough time, because they're still just standing there in silence.
Yeah.
And Rufus turns around and says, "Did we get him?" And Heidegger says, "Oh, it seems so."
Yeah.
And no fucking sooner does he say "it seems so" that the alarm comes right the fuck back on. And the announcer goes, "Weapon approaching, speed 50 knots." And it's heading right toward us.
Yeah, so I did a quick Google too to see how fast
the knots is.
And a knot is equivalent to like 1.15 miles per hour. So it's a little over 50 miles per hour.
It's like 60 miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget the exact conversion, but it's like...
So it's rolling up on
It's
them.
rolling
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rolling around at the speed of 50 knots.
Heidegger says, "It can't be. We hit it dead on."
It is a blue blur.
And Rufus says, "What about the cannon?" Heidegger goes, "Oh, it'll take time to reload." And Rufus says, "Then use regular firepower in the meantime."
Yeah.
So because like Junon does have a shit ton of other like smaller cannons on.
Yeah.
And
It is
Heidegger
very Death Star.
they were working their way up to making the big gun. They had to make little tiny ones to practice.
Just glue a bunch of those smaller cannons together to make another big cannon.
Heidegger says, "Yes, sir. Open all artillery doors. Target weapon. Don't let it land."
Yeah.
And this is the first time we actually get to like look at weapons. So like an FMV starts, right? And like this thing is so goddamn gnarly. I will say this. I think that like this is the gnarliest looking weapon.
Yeah.
Not necessarily cool wise,
Yeah.
but like disgusting wise.
Yeah.
Right?
It looks...
Yeah, it looks very, like, it looks like something that would emerge from the ocean.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very like amphibian, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorta. I feel like it looks
fish.
a little more like biological than a lot of the other weapons. Like,
Yeah.
it looks
the other
like,
ones look like Gundams, and this one looks like some fucking...
like a kaiju.
It's somewhere
Yeah.
between.
Looks like a Gundam made of fish.
I was thinking from the top, it reminded me of Chaos from Sonic Adventure 1.
Oh, yeah.
combined
Oh, yeah,
with,
for
like,
sure.
Combined with like Azora.
But at first, all we see is like its tail and like a giant fucking fin pop out of the water, and it's a giant. Like that fin is probably twice the size of those apartment buildings in Junon. This is
Yeah.
enormous, right?
Huge.
So yeah, it's wild. And then
Yeah.
we kind of like we see shots of the Shinra soldiers like shooting their guns at it.
Yeah, they like pick up a bunch of like rocket
Yo,
launchers.
dude, they pick up
Yeah.
fucking rocket launchers to shoot at
They
it.
just throw everything they can at it.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, I love that like the actual like building mounted artillery is nothing compared to those rocket launchers. Like it's getting hit with all these like artillery shells, and when they fire the rocket launchers, like the camera zooms with the rockets, and it's like, look at these motherfuckers.
Yep.
And like nothing. Like this fin and like this like kind of
It's not even slowing it down.
not even slowing it down. It's not registering these hits.
Yeah.
And then we get another scene inside where announcer says, "Speed 70 knots.
Yeah.
Weapon closing in. No good. It's attacking."
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we see more of the soldiers
bazookas.
kind of like taking a knee and like shooting their bazookas and stuff.
Yeah,
It's so cool. It's very
dude-
GI Joe. I feel like
Yeah.
it's very cool.
And Weapon gets right fucking up to Junon. Like it is about to collide with it, and it just dives all of a sudden. It just goes like down into the water, right?
Yeah.
It's whoosh, and we like, oh god, this fucking scene is so goddamn action
Weapons
packed.
coming out the water.
Coming up out the water. And like,
I like the part too where like we see how close it's getting right before it dives, and there's like two soldiers kind of standing right at the edge of like the water, and like they turn around and start running.
Away.
Yeah, and the one guy like trips a little bit.
yeah, and like as though timing hasn't been like an unfortunate thing this whole time, the gas starts getting released into Tifa's chamber right at this moment.
Yep.
Which is maybe where we could take a break.
Are we going to take a break here?
I think so.
How do you feel about that, guest Alex?
That sounds good to me.
All right, let's do it. Let's fall asleep in the fucking gas chamber. Oh no!
I just wanted to say, I forget. We were talking about when the flashback when you see Cloud go off the train, and I thought back to when Barrett said, "There's no getting off this train we're on," even though it started on them getting off a train. Really makes you think.
Really makes you think.
It really makes you think, folks. We're back. And so the gas chamber has been activated and gas is pouring into the room.
The whole time.
The whole time. I think it starts here. Yeah?
Technically, every room is full of gas.
This is full of a
This is bad
specific.
gas.
Yeah,
Bad gas.
this is Taco Bell gas.
It's all farts.
Yeah, it's all parts.
It's like how when you're at work, you're looking at the bad screen, but when we're looking at our Switches, we're looking at the good screen. This is the bad gas.
This is the part where I get to talk about how I hate every mini game in this whole fucking game.
This one sucks.
Yo, I got it. I know what to do though. So
This is not Nickelodeon's gas. Those are good mini games.
this isn't your mother's gas. This is Nickelodeon gas. So this is like. All kidding aside, though, it's very fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
Because, like, the gas is, like, shooting right onto her, right?
Like into her face.
And she's screaming, "Barrett, help!" And Barrett just says, "Hold your breath." Like, which, like, I mean, I guess.
Thanks, Barrett.
Yeah, hold on as long as you can.
Don't die.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barrett.
She says, "Come on, I can't hold on forever." And it goes out to the
Press room.
press room. Thank
Which
you.
is for some reason there's a gas chamber room right next to the press room.
I know.
Because Shinra.
Because Shinra. And Barrett says, "Zoinks, the gas room's probably locked from a different room." And Ket says, "We gotta go with a different plan. Let's get out of this room first."
Yeah.
And Barrett looks back and says, "Tifa, I'll help you, I promise." And then I equipped all my materia and everything. Because now we're in charge of running around with Barrett and Ket.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And as soon as you walk out of the press room, you hear a little beep, and the door locks behind you again.
Yep.
Which,
Yeah,
like,
'cause
oh my
Scarlet
god,
was still in there.
I know. Yeah, Barrett says, "No, they locked this too." And you hear Scarlet talking from the other side of the door and says, "Fools, now you can't save the girl."
And then she laughs again. Her
Yeah. And he says, "God damn it." And Ket says, okay, time for plan B. Let's run to the airport, which does sound pretty fucking wild.
Yeah.
Because Barrett's like, "Why the airport? Leave Tifa here."
Yeah,
And keep this in mind for later, because Ket should have said some more, probably.
Yeah, probably so, yeah.
Yeah.
Ket says, trust me, we gotta take a chance. And then we can run around as Barrett and get into some battles here if you walk around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys get into some fights?
I got into some fights
I got into some
With
battles.
who?
with Soldier.
Soldier.
Second
Soldier.
class.
Oh boy.
Second class. He's got a big, pointy, javelin-looking sword.
I think it might be kind of like a precursor to Gunblades.
Maybe?
Because he looks like he's holding it very much like how, like Squall.
Yeah, he
or-
definitely has a weird grip on it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like it doesn't quite look like the Gunblade that we all know and love from Final
Yeah,
Fantasy VIII.
yeah.
But he also does one of his moves kind of looks very similar to like one of Squall's limit breaks, I feel like.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know how much of that is me just projecting my love of Final Fantasy VIII onto it.
It
but
could be. It very well could be.
So I don't know if I'm misremembering, but are these the guys that can counterattack?
Yeah, they fucking are, and they
Yeah.
do a
Yeah.
shit ton of damage. These
I
Sword
feel like
of
their
Doom.
counterattack does more than their actual damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
super damaging.
I frogged one, and that was fun.
That is fun. But I would like to point out that this is the first time we've ever had to fight Soldier,
yeah.
and so you remember
And we're without Cloud too.
Yeah, I know. And you remember like way back, I think it was like our second episode, maybe our first one, that Cloud says like, "Hey, if somebody from Soldier was here,
You'd be dead."
You'd be dead."
Yeah.
So like, could you imagine being like level 5 or whatever, like we were at the beginning of the game, and actually fighting the second class soldiers?
Yep.
These guys, we would be dead.
Yep.
We would
Why
be-
was why was Cloud only level 5?
Well, was he Soldier?
You'll find
I guess
out.
that's true. Was it?
Yeah, he wasn't Soldier. Or was he? I don't know. We'll have to find out. But yeah, and so like we were talking about earlier, like I just kept using Ket's dice to get out of all these situations.
Yeah.
Because it did a lot of damage.
Yeah, and at this point you can probably build up limit breaks pretty quickly with him.
Oh yeah. And like, cause both characters were so under-leveled, so like I was just getting limits all the time.
Yeah.
Which also means that I was taking a fuckload of damage every single hit. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, this is not easy.
Yeah, and if you try to go any way that like you aren't supposed to go, like not on the critical path, like those hallways that have the soldiers blocking the way and saying you can't pass, like you can go down them now, but then Ket will say, where are you going? The airport's the other way.
Right.
So like you can't really explore this area too much, which like you shouldn't because your friend is in a gas chamber.
Right. And then as soon as we walk the correct direction, right, we go to the next screen, and a reporter runs on screen.
love
Okay,
this.
so this is the front street of Junon.
Yeah.
This is like
One of the front streets.
We see the
Yeah.
see the cannon in the distance. This is one of the shots that when Weapon was approaching, all the soldiers were kind of standing there like
Right.
silently. Like this
Right.
is that screen. There's two of the soldiers running towards like the area that we're coming out of, and then a reporter runs on
Yeah,
screen.
so a reporter and a camera
cameraman,
person
yeah.
runs on screen. And like to describe this reporter, I would say this reporter has glasses, right? Like blue glasses.
It's like Piper from Fallout 4, but not really.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just that vibe.
Fair enough.
Another very conspicuous reporter that is in no
Yeah.
way
Yeah, in fucking khaki hot pants and fucking like
yellow shoes
yellow shoes
with a weird arm thing.
and a fucking bandana on. Basically, just imagine if they looked exactly like Yuffie wearing a red turtleneck instead of a green one and glasses. So like I feel like may as well be like the equivalent of like wearing the glasses with the fake nose and mustache
Yeah.
on it to be like, I'm not.
Well, I mean,
who
it's
you
the
think.
equivalent of putting Ketchi in a trench coat, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
The equivalent of Superman just putting on glasses and being like, "No, I'm a different guy."
Yeah, and as soon as we run up, the fucking cameraman sees us and like scrams. He's just like, "Yo, fuck this," and runs away.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
talk to the reporter, sorry, go ahead.
Who's that cameraman?
Yeah, who the fuck is that cameraman?
I don't know. Yuffie's good at scamming
Who did
people.
Yuffie trick?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I was
She
gonna
got,
say,
she got a job dealing materia, so she probably got like
Right.
an AV job for like, a
Here's my
local-
journalism degree from Wutai University. Just
She was in the AV club at Wutai. Yeah.
yeah, like she spent one day in Costa del Sol, so like, and she made like cleaned up there, so she
Yeah,
spent like
yeah.
at least 7 days in Junon, like
Learning
who
how to be a
knows-
reporter, yeah.
like
Oh,
who
God.
knows, like
Yo, that would make for an
make that
excellent side
game.
story.
Like, yeah.
yeah.
Like instead of like playing Dirge of Cerberus, I would love to play the 7 days of Yuffie at Junon, learning how to be a reporter or whatever.
Yeah, just like stealing
And,
materia
stealing
from everyone,
materia and
pretending to
scamming
be.
people. Yeah, God, that would be a great game.
Wow.
And as soon as we walk up, look, it's Yuffie. We already said it out loud. Unnamed, right? Because technically we're supposed to think that she's a reporter. They say, "I know you're in a hurry, but please, if I could have a word." And Barrett says, "Shut up, I'm in a hurry." And Yuffie says, "Don't make so much noise. It's me, Yuffie." And he's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And their conversation is cut short because Weapon resurfaces right as he says that, right?
Yeah.
So before that,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
what happens if you have not recruited Yuffie?
Oh.
Oh, I don't
Or if you
know.
can just keep running, maybe.
Yeah, you might just.
I think it's just
going.
maybe it's just a camera guy there.
You just don't
Yeah.
get a third party member for this section?
Maybe. I don't know.
yeah, I'm
That'd
not
be-
seeing anything
yeah.
in the script.
I mean, that's fair. I just wanted to ask.
No, that's
'cause
a
I did
very
not
good.
know.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I'm gonna have to do
I
a-
will check because I can remove.
Oh, that's
I
right.
can remove that. I can remove her from my save file. I've been making a save file in a new slot every time just so I can go back.
Yeah, right.
And so I'll try replaying this area without Yuffie engaged and maybe come back and talk about that.
Nice. Yeah,
That's
that's a
awesome.
good idea.
Further reporting.
It might be just boring.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you just walked by. There's no one there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's my
there's-
guess.
There's also a weird like
A ring?
yeah. Oh, is it ring?
It says. Wait, hold on.
I just see on the screenshot that I have that I didn't even notice while I was taking the screenshot, but like just in that white text that doesn't have a background or anything, like underneath when Barrett's saying "Shut up, I'm in a hurry," there's just something that says ... like RII.
Yeah, mine says ... RIIING ... So I guess
Okay.
that was the full
And
thing.
in the script it says KIIIIN. Weird.
What if there's a sound effect thing? Like I'm getting really confused because like earlier, like Tifa said "ding,"
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird sounds going on in this episode.
Yeah.
Very weird. I don't know. I guess it
supposed
could
to just be like sounds the weapon is making.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking.
Because you're like in open air at this point, so you can probably hear it. Like,
but yeah, so fucking weapon resurfaces and looks fucking baller. So we were kind of describing weapon earlier, right?
Yeah. Did we say that Yuffie reveals herself?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's me.
Yeah, it's me. It's a me. Yeah, so weapon pops up, and I think, let me think about this. Yes, I think that this is the face of the weapon that we saw in the crater.
I think so. It makes sense with the eye.
Yeah, they all have like slightly different faces, but this one really looks like it, and like the eye looks like that eye.
Yeah.
So I think this is the one that was in the background in the northern crater.
Yeah, I think so.
This is the one who has a face that kind of looks like a Megabyte from Reboot.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and so it comes up out of the water, and we see that face a little bit better.
Come up at the wall.
Ugh.
this is definitely my favorite design of all the weapons, I think.
Yeah,
you don't get to see
absolutely.
it more.
Yeah. It cuts back to Yuffie and Barrett. Yuffie says, "I'll explain later. We got to get to the airport." And so like everybody's heading toward the airport, and like Barrett and us as the player has no idea why we're going to the airport, but apparently everybody else is on board.
Apparently, it's real cool there.
I mean, you ever been to the airport? Only cool kids.
They got a Cinnabon.
They got a Cinnabon.
They got an anti-Ans.
Yeah, and so we end up running to the airport, and it's the same screen that back on our Junon episode, which I think is like episode 5 or 6
After
of the
we
podcast.
got up out the water with the Mr. Dolphin, we climbed up onto the airport platform.
Yep, this is the exact same platform and the same like elevation, like what would you call it? Like a platform elevator that we used.
It's like a utility lift kind of, but that's about. It looks like it's meant for transporting like vehicles and other big loads of cargo because it is like the size of like a landing pad.
It always confuses me when I come onto the screen because the thing to make the thing lift up just looks like a treasure chest to me every time.
Yeah.
The button to use the lift is a treasure box. Yeah, which I guess that's a good way to get the player to know to check it because they're like, oh shit, treasure. But yeah, so we used it to come down originally, and now we're using it to come up.
Yeah, I just pulled up
like
my
poetry.
screenshots. I just pulled up my screenshots from last time too, and that's like the exact eye. I'm pretty sure of the.
Yeah,
weapon.
I think that's.
I'm pretty sure it was the one that was stuck in the.
Oh yeah.
So
Big
I don't
green
know
eye.
I don't know if Wimmer will be able to see it, but probably not.
Oh yeah, all 3 pixels.
What happens during the FMB of the weapon rising out of the water though?
Nothing on that one.
Okay,
It's just rising up. We don't actually see anything else
surfacing.
happen.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a really good job of building tension by cutting back and forth between the party and the weapon.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And before we get to this scene, which is a fucking awesome scene, I just want to say that I got in a battle and I used the Leviathan Summon, and it's also very cool.
Oh yeah,
So-
I love that summon.
I've been like as I go through the game, I'm like, you know what? I've never really used summons in this game ever before, so I guess I'll just throw them out and see what happens. And like, yo, they're awesome.
Yeah,
All of
really
the summon
cool.
animations of this game are really, really cool.
They
hell
really
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
nothing. It was just like I was using. What was I using? I had W summon enabled, so
Oh.
I was using Chocomog over and over again. Just,
I will say,
Enables W summon earlier only uses Chocomog.
Power move.
Yeah, I know. That's a fucking power move.
It's like minimizing yourself and using the mime trick over and over again.
on purpose. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah,
there's two. I bumped in. Yeah, I bumped into 2 soldier second classes on this platform.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah. There's also a weird enemy called the roulette cannon.
Oh, I
I
did
don't
not
know
see
if you
that
saw
one.
where
oh
it just
yeah,
looks-
that guy. I love that design too. It's like
Yeah.
a big revolver robot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just I think it's weak to bolt, but it basically just looks like the barrel of a gun in like a giant like cannon sort of thing, and it kind of just I only saw like one attack from it, but it's called roulette, so I don't know if it like it looked like it had a kind of random like it would point at each character that it's about to hit.
okay. It's
So-
doing like an eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and then attacks the character.
And then the barrel would spin, and it would just shoot like a missile out of it. I'm not sure if it had like any kind of special thing of like, you know, like doing more damage if it does a special attack or anything. I think it was just always doing the same attack, but a
All right,
different
fair
person.
But yeah, so I gave I guess they didn't name it, but I gave the name away last episode. The airship, the High Wind is
Oh,
here,
yeah.
right? And it's like tethered up, like you would like anchor something, like you would anchor a boat. It's like tethered to a big like post. Wimmer, you know things about boats and ships and odd things because you like to read.
Do I?
Do you know what? I don't know. You got me to read Pasco at the Wall, so I assume that you do.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, do you know what that's called? the post that they anchor or tie like boats to.
I don't know what the post itself is called, but I know that the act itself is called mooring. So it is moored to this.
It is moored.
Yeah.
So instead of finding that information out, we'll just tell our listeners to add us. Add us with the answer. Yeah. So the party runs up underneath it with no like apparent place to go. The high wind's and the high wind's flying right now. Like you said, it's moored. It's not like landed. And Barrett just says, "Yo,
I don't think you could land. Like I don't think you see it land except for on the overworld, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say you can
bottom.
land it, but only on the overworld. Yeah,
Yeah, like it doesn't look like it has like any landing gear though.
yeah, it's true. It's
That's
true.
weird.
Yeah.
But Barrett says, "Yo, are you sure this is the right way? It's a dead end because like it looks like we've run into
Nothing.
nothing. Like we see the high wind in the background, but there's no apparent way to get to it. You
Yeah.
know, like yeah,
And nor anyone to fly it.
yeah, right. No, right, yeah, no one to fly it." And Ket says, "Oh, did I make a wrong turn?" And like, oh my god, like I feel like Barrett says exactly what I'm feeling. He says, "You damn cat! The hell are we gonna do now? They'll all be coming soon." Which like it is kind of like you've killed us all, you moron.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So definitely here, Ket has no excuse to not
Yeah,
spill the
yeah.
beans.
Yeah, right.
This is the point where he's being an asshole.
He's just being coy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Yuffie, I guess, would also have to like play along as well.
right. Yeah. Well, I wonder like how much of it is genuinely like good luck or planned out.
Yeah, I think I took it kind of more as like it being good luck. Like
We'll get some text later that I think might lend credence to us being lucky.
Yeah, exactly. I think I know what you're talking about. But I took it as like Kate Sith, Ket Shi, or whatever, actually trying to make good finally. Like he's already made good a couple of times and they were
Yeah.
kind of like weak and hollow and stuff. And this is like where he's actually doing something very useful
Right.
and trying to actually
Yeah.
do something
Yeah,
even
yeah.
more. And like it might have just been like, fuck, like I thought we would have some luck here at the airport.
Yeah.
And he runs up and he's like, oh,
He does
no.
say we have to take a chance.
Yeah,
So he might be
exactly.
like, fuck, you know.
He might have been like, oh, there might be something here that we could
yeah.
use.
And Barrett's very untrusting because he's literally led us into a terrible situation where
Like-
we have our back to the ocean on a fucking like helipad and like soldiers coming after us.
And our friend is trapped, like, we
in a
just
gas
ran
chamber.
further away
Yeah.
instead of staying back and helping them.
yeah.
And Barrett turns around, faces the camera, and says, "You better watch my back till the end, partner."
Yeah.
Like ... partner.
And he, like, sticks out his gun.
Yo,
arm.
and then we get the most fucking anime shot of the whole goddamn dream.
It's so
Ugh. This is, oh man, Alex, when you put our Instagram stuff up, whatever for the episode, oh, you should use this one because this scene rules.
Yeah, we just see the high wind in the background, the, like, beautiful sky around it, and just, like,
Yeah.
the camera, like, pointing
It's
up
the
towards
camera's
it all.
at ground level, right? Yeah, pointing up toward the high wind and up at our characters too. And yeah, Barrett's like got one arm like in a fist, like flexing it, and the gun arm's just sticking out, right?
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, like, I really love this game for, like, what it is and, like, of its time. And, like, even though the graphics, you know, people, like, dunk on it all the time because it's, like, you know, like the Lego figures or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But, like, even, like, this was a rare point of me being, like, I'm actually really, really excited to see this in, like, HD in the remake of
Yeah.
just this, like, exact shot of Barrett holding his
Yeah,
hand with
I
the
feel like
highlight
this
behind
is a shot that you have to remake.
it. Yeah.
Like if you're doing a remake of the games, like you have to put this in here.
Yeah,
Just
it's like
yeah.
if they didn't put in, like, Sephiroth standing in the flames or something. You're like,
Yeah,
what?
right, yeah.
yeah.
And the screen now fades out and fades up, and we're back in the gas chamber as
Yeah.
Tifa, right? And like y'all said earlier that I totally forgot to see, the key had fallen off of the guard, right?
Yeah.
And we get into a little mini game because the text
Yep.
pops up: move your
This
feet and arms,
thing sucks.
and then use your head to get out of the chair. All right, why don't you take us through it, Wimmer?
So the game grinds to a screeching halt and nothing will happen and all the urgency goes away immediately and you just get frustrated and look at a walkthrough. A little text box comes up and it has all of your face buttons on it and they're all like assigned to body parts. So like you can move your legs, your head, your right arm, and your left arm. And
Which your right arm and your left arm only so much at this point because you
Only
are like
so much,
strapped
yeah.
to it. Yeah.
and you have to figure out how to get out with like anti-instruction.
Yeah, because like the weird thing is, I feel like the first two moves are the weird ones, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that
Because
is
you would
not
think that like
what I thought.
Oh, you don't think so?
No. So like the way this happened to me is like, okay, do this. I'll just try them all, and then when you do the feat, she like scoots down, right?
Yeah.
She like slumps in the. Is slumps the right word?
I think
Slumps in the
so.
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's still connected by the arms, but she like scoots her butt off the chair to try and reach the key with her foot.
Yeah.
And then from there, it makes no sense.
So that's the thing, right? Is the only thing that was ever really difficult for me in this, or to figure out, was the fact that I was like, well, if I press the right button, then something should happen. And when you press legs and she scoots forward in the chair and like you don't get the key, I was like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't the right one.
Yeah.
But to actually do it, you have to hit legs twice.
Yeah.
Because then she like fully pushes her body off of the chair, so her arms are kind of behind her now, strapped to the armrest of the chair, but she's able to maneuver her feet now to grab that key.
Yeah, she like puts her foot over it and slides it towards her, and then she's trying to like pick it up with both of her feet at the same time.
This is where the game gives you the worst piece of advice. It's like, try combinations or pressing them after each other.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It says try different patterns, try and combine 2 movements at once.
Yeah.
Because I just kept hitting like the feet thing.
Yeah, and so what happens is she like pushes the key in between her feet and then like tries to lift it up to her, right? So like maybe one of her hands can grab it or something like that.
Yeah.
But she drops it once it gets about to the seat height.
Yeah, exactly. So I just kept doing that over and over again, and like I was able to, after like 5 minutes of like brute forcing it and trying to figure out like get it to work, but I was trying like different timings, and I was trying like,
Man, I got it like, I swear I got it like pretty immediately. And
I was like
yeah, this was hugely unresponsive for me. Like this was
and
this was
I
not great.
And like you were saying, you pointed out that the like all of like the like, you know, like the anxiety that you have with it just goes like out the window.
Well, so I was still kind of anxious because there's fucking like gas still being spewed from things. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you, when you're just like mashing buttons for 10 minutes, it doesn't
Yeah,
does
no,
not have
fair.
the same
That's
effect
fair.
anymore.
I'm like waiting for a game over screen, and all the urgency is just gone because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh well, there's probably no fail condition in this game, because the
Yeah.
fail condition would just be, hey, we showed you like 3 awesome cutscenes that take a while. And like that was like right after you saved, and if you get a game over here, you just have to go back and watch them all over again for this like stupid mini.
Well, I'll tell you, I feel like this is the one time I'm going to diverge on the opinion because
that's
I
fine.
thought it was fine, but I wasn't
I mean, it
like
can definitely work. It's just
yeah.
my experience with it was so.
Put it this way,
Yeah, I tried the thing where like, okay, I guess I'm supposed to move my head and my feet at the same time to meet, and like it didn't work.
Oh, really?
But that
it
is
wouldn't
what you have to do. Like it's just not.
It didn't respond.
Yeah.
It wasn't really responsive for me.
Oh,
For some
really?
reason. But I'm looking at the guide through right now, and you're supposed to like do that. Well, exactly what I was trying to do, which is trying to have your head meet where your feet are coming up.
And
to.
that is what happens, right? when you
Yeah,
get it.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
and she's
from-
able to
just from frustration.
Catch it in her
Okay.
teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, she's able to grab the key in her teeth, and then you can use the head and an arm button in combination.
Yeah.
and she's able to
I
move
think
the
you
key.
specifically have to do the right arm first. If
Oh,
I
maybe
remember
so.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe so.
like she goes and like on and unlocks our arm, and then you
Yeah.
have to do the right
other
arm
one,
to
yeah.
left arm. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like you were saying, it could be like the responsiveness of it or whatever. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, no, it's fucking great, because I don't have that much of an emotional, backing for this.
You're wrong.
I just
the canon version is that it sucks. It's bad.
well, yeah,
I
and
hope
mine,
they
mine
add
isn't even necessarily that it's great. It's just that it was fine.
yeah.
I hope in the remake they make this PlayStation Motion exclusive.
Oh my god.
I have to use a VR.
No, because we already know that there's like pull-ups, and I'm not into having to actually do pull. The game comes with a pull-up bar, so like when you go to the gym, you actually have to do them.
They're gonna port it to Switch with that weird ring fitness thing that you have to use. Yeah, but it's the kind of thing where like I think once you get it the first time, and if you remember for every other time, it's like, oh, I just have to hit the buttons in the correct order, and like
Yeah.
it's
like
it's
I see what
fine.
they were going for
Yeah.
trying to design this, because like it does make sense.
It's
like
immersive.
it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I think this execution needed a little bit of work.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I mean, it did remind me a little bit of like the torture scene in Metal Gear Solid.
Oh god.
Yeah.
You know, where you have to
Yeah.
like just stay awake.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
even that's just button mashing, right?
Yeah,
like, you
yeah,
have to mash
exactly.
the
But
button.
it kind of felt like that kind of frustration. Like, I don't know, man.
you have to get a spoon to make you mash faster.
Unless you have a turbo button.
True.
Oh wait, they think they can call you out if you're using turbo. Like,
Yeah,
if you're doing too
Psycho
fast.
Mantis probably comes in and is like, yo, motherfucker, don't use that turbo controller shit. Also, you play too much Animal Crossing.
Yeah. How did he know it was on my DS? Yeah.
Like, goddamn, Kojima, how did you know?
Yeah. That's what the NSA is really doing. Like they're gathering data on all Americans for Kojima Productions, so that Psycho Mantis can know what we're up to
via their GameCube memory card.
Yeah, when I play Death Stranding, they're gonna be like, "Ooh, I see that you host a podcast that comes out at 4 a.m. every Friday." I'll be like, "Oh my god, Kojima!"
Oh, by the way, as someone who works fuck off early in the morning, thank you guys for that. It's great.
Hell yeah,
Oh yeah.
I might push it to midnight. Just no one will even notice.
yeah.
I like how you did it just for the alliteration of it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
the only reason.
Yeah.
every
FNFF at 4.
every Friday at 4.
Yeah. So good. So yeah, once we get out of the chair, Tifa says, "Which button stops the gas?"
Yeah.
And it's the only button. It's the only big button.
Oh yeah.
Now, see, this also frustrated me because it did not read as a button.
Yeah,
Oh,
it just
really?
looks like another light.
Yeah, it doesn't look interactable in a lot of ways.
Yeah, fair enough. I saw the Shinra guard go up to it and fuck around with it,
right,
which is
right.
why I was
No,
like,
they
"Oh,
do-
that's it."
They do definitely establish it. They also just showed me a fucking cool monster in the meantime, so I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
yeah.
And these girls be slapping.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, that's
yeah,
way
yeah.
later.
No, I'm saying that's why I was distracted from earlier when she was slapping
Oh,
Tifa.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
fair. Yeah, so you go up to the door. Tifa tries to open it and just says "won't open," and then we get the fucking coolest goddamn one of the cool ones. Actually, this is the second coolest. We cut back outside to weapon, and we can see it a lot better now, right?
Yeah.
And like, there's a creature I'm trying to think of. It's like a fucking shrimp, like in the front, in that it has like creepy, weird tendrils. It's very odd. Like the design of this weapon is so gross. I love it. And gross, like again, a very like this is a thing that would come from the ocean because ocean life is weird.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Ocean
it
life
definitely
is
looks like
scary.
some sort of deep sea monstrosity. Like,
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
Official stance of the podcast: deep sea life is weird.
Yeah. Weird and scary.
Weird and scary. Fucking don't get me down there, Jacques Cousteau. R.I.P. to a real one. Yeah, but we see the face of this weapon now too, and like it like opens its mouth and like fucking unhinges its jaw. It's like it opens that mouth wide.
Yeah,
and
it
it
feels
has,
almost like a plate, like hinging down. Like it's real big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's got just teeth on teeth, baby.
It's almost like baleen kind of style teeth, like a whale.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for that that addendum to that statement. Because I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Whale teeth.
Yeah. And it fucking fires a laser out, right?
It's a fireness laser. It's 2007 all over again.
And it hits like the armor plating on top of the cannon.
Yeah.
Is that how? Yeah, you say that. Just below the Dietz and Watson logo.
Yeah.
on the cannon. And it just tears a giant fucking hole into it, right?
Yeah.
Which, helpfully, is actually hold on.
Yeah, no.
Oh no, wait! This is the scene. Holy shit!
Yeah.
This scene continues. Never mind. This is the best fucking
Because
scene.
it starts charging his laser again.
and it looks just menacing as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, like-
it's like tilting its head a little bit and
It's
like has
tilting its-
one eye like closed a little
Slightly,
more
it,
than the
it
other.
has like this grimace on it. Oh
real
god,
sass.
It's getting ready to just fuck Junon up.
Real-
We just saw one of its lasers real quick, like just open a giant fucking gash in the fucking cannon.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that like when it's like ready for number 2, we're gonna get real fucked out of this one, right?
Yeah.
And like, oh man, okay, you know what? I feel it would be selfish of me to also describe this part.
No, go right
so
ahead,
who would
unless-
who
unless-
would like this part? Someone, Wimmer, you're the guest here. As a gift to you, would you like to describe this next scene?
So the weapon kind of like pulls up to be like dead even with the cannon, which seems like a bad idea and then proves to be a bad idea because it gets shot right in the goddamn face. It's really good.
Dude, Ken shoots it right in the fucking face and blows its whole head off.
Yeah.
And it
Holy
just falls
shit.
back down into the water.
It's real like Yosemite Sam, like Daffy Duck, like checking the barrel of a gun to see if the bullet's in it, and it goes off, and then its beak is behind its head.
I took a screenshot of it. Look at this fucking screenshot.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the most brutal fucking thing?
It is amazing.
Dude,
like,
I'm gonna hold it real close to the camera and see if you can see it with.
Oh yeah, that's the good shit right there.
That's good radio, baby.
I got the after. The only screenshot I grabbed was is smoking it, and then like just this just green slime from its head hole just kind of oozing down.
Oh yeah,
it's gross.
Yeah,
this is like probably pretty damn gory for so far
for the
this
whole game. Honestly, like this kind of stands alone as like
I would have preferred
huge action set piece.
Yeah, like we saw Genova without the head.
Genova was pretty gross,
and just having
places,
but like we didn't see the action that caused that.
Right.
We didn't see when they guillotined Genova.
I would have preferred this if the cannon hit it and then it just phased out like them in the middle of a fight.
Like in a real battle, it like turns red and all the polygons shake.
Pink triangles. Yeah.
Yeah. But
over the Junon speakers.
I also love what
That would have been so good.
What I really loved about this scene too is that like we constantly throughout the course of the game, I think Barrett said it very, very well one time, that like the planet is massive and doesn't care about us. You know what I mean? It's a great big planet out there and it's all fucking powerful. And we just fucked that weapon up.
Yep.
And by we, I mean like
the worst,
Rufus.
the worst showing
in-
of humanity.
Bring in the Rufus.
he brought
So I
the
will say-
motherfucking Rufus.
So on a little bit of a tangent, I do think it's interesting that like the weapons are the fury of the planet trying to correct things. And the first thing this one goes for is big Shinra-based Junon.
Yeah.
Like it is interesting seeing where these things' priorities are. It gets really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A large source of Mako reactors and like therefore damage to the planet, right?
Yeah.
They should join Avalanche.
The weapon join Avalanche.
Well, I think that's part of the weird the forces at play here, right?
Yeah.
That we're trying to save the planet, but the planet is
planet's
big and
trying
doesn't
to
care
save
about
itself
us.
too, and doesn't give a shit. Like,
And it doesn't give a shit about us.
Yeah,
right?
and it just kind of sees all of us like, I mean, not like for good reason too. Like it kind of just sees all of that as like the same. Like they don't see like, oh, Avalanche is different than Shinra. Like they're just like, no, the only way I can defend myself is getting rid of all of this.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
it's
another
all just
really
live stream at the end. Like
exactly. But another really cool thing after this is when Weapon starts to like submerge again after getting like totally owned. We just see like its tail kind of like flipping up in the air, and it's glowing. Like the tail is like glowing, and then it fades. The tail, like the light in the tail, kind of fades.
Oh, really? I didn't
You're
even notice that.
iridescent, kind of like a jellyfish.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's like that's the life leaving Weapon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
so. This is
Weapon.
Yeah, I
maybe,
have that. Oh, you're right. The light does fade from its tail.
Yeah.
Wild.
So this is maybe a tiny slight spoiler. So maybe Alex, close your ears. But I'm really sad.
Well,
we
he's
can't-
going to hear it because he's going to put it together later.
I'm sad we can't see this later when we can go down there.
Oh, right.
yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Oh, that would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Right?
Fair enough.
Like, yeah.
All right.
We see other sunken things, just not that.
I
but-
feel like okay, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get
when we get there.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, because I have another thing to say about what you just said, but I can't. Not yet. Anyway, so like I was saying, like I was getting ready to accidentally say earlier, it's actually very fortuitous where that first laser blast from Weapon hit the cannon at, right?
Yeah.
Because it does rip open that giant gash, and it just so happens that gash goes right over top of the gas chamber.
Yep.
And now
Lucky
Tifa
us.
has a way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Someone's
then-
probably mapped this out where like how the press conference is right in the middle and the gas chamber right on the outer side. I guess that would make sense if you have like your prisoners like on the outside where like if you're most likely to receive attacks from
maybe so.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
holding cells and what have you.
No
Yeah.
blast shields on that one.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I really
I-
want
I-
to like have a conversation with the city planner for Junon.
God, you and Corey
Yeah,
both.
I was gonna say you and Corey both.
So I like that after this happens because, like, you know, fucking Weapon has shot this, ripped open this whole hole, and from the other side of the gas chamber door, you can hear Scarlet say, "What did you do?
Yeah, it's just like, hey, open it. Like
Yeah.
she's trying to get in the room. 'Cause
What did you do?"
Yeah, it. She thinks Tifa just found a way to like break through shit.
Yeah. And then Tifa says, first you lock me in this weird place, and now you're telling me to come out. Make up your mind.
Hell yeah.
So good.
And then Tifa kind of just runs towards like where the giant gash in the wall is, and like starts climbing up.
Yep. And we can see her climbing out of it. And then we go to these awesome one-off screens. Like we can never come back to these screens again.
So good.
Oh,
this is some of my favorite background art in the game.
Just me too. Yeah. Absolutely. So she is climbing down the fucking so the cannon, once it attaches to Junon, kind of like turns into a tower, I guess.
Yeah, like a Stark Tower type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Big, like a round kind of Art Deco-y, just round fronted building. I mean, it's kind of like the Shinra headquarters in the same shape, where it's like a giant, a rounded front.
Yep. And so Tifa's now climbing down the fucking front of this tower, right?
Yeah.
And it's fucking awesome because like I get some real goddamn vertigo out of it where I'm like, yo, it's a long way down.
Yep.
And
I really don't like heights, and this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like
Scarlet and her goons are also hot on your tail, you find out.
Yeah, you see them coming out. And one of them fucking just beefs it. One of the fucking guards.
Self-own.
He self-owns himself.
Yeah, he
and
just
falls to his goddamn doom.
Oh, boy.
just falls right off the screen,
It falls right to his doo-boom.
So so you're climbing. So this is happening real time. They're following you, and you're climbing. Is there anything that happens if they catch up to you?
Just thinking that.
Did anyone try?
No.
Okay, because I did, because I was like, I want to see if it like starts a fight or anything. They just stop. Like, they just stand there. Like you, like I don't think there's ever.
They don't even do as much as Elena did in Icicle Inn.
Like, yeah. Like
I was almost certain it would just be like start a battle. But but it'd be weird because you're like a one-handed battle because you're like clinging to the side of a building.
But yeah, you just kind of climb down, and they like make their way to like the next positions that they go in, and it should be noted too that when you get to a certain point, you can't go back. So I think like once you get to like the one platform that you can like walk a little bit on, then they start climbing down, and you can't like go back and climb back up. So like it does it in like an elegant way where you like don't even notice, and like there's so much you're just trying to escape that you're like locked in on it that you're just like, oh, I just gotta go. So it seems like they're hot on your tail, but really it's just like they are always like one block behind you.
Okay.
Like no matter what, like on a different level than you. So it looks like
Interesting.
they're right there. But like, yeah, I have a screenshot of me just like waiting there, and like the Shinra guy's also waiting there. And I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
No, you first.
hey, buddy.
So once you're able to climb all the way down the tower, Tifa jumps onto the top of the cannon, right? And so we're on the back of the cannon now where all the...
Well, does she jump?
Does she jump or fall?
It felt like she fell.
Oh, she does fall. You're right.
Yeah,
Not as far as the other guys. So she lands just fine.
She didn't totally beef it. She only slightly beefed it.
Yeah, right.
She hammed it.
She hammed it.
Yeah. That's so good.
But yeah, she like lands on her butt and kind of like bounces a little bit, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, so the next screen running along the cannon is just like the kind of the mechanics of the cannon, right? Like we're not on the barrel of it yet. We're back where like the shell would be loaded or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're kind of walking around the geometry of all those mechanisms on the cannon.
Oh yeah, there's like two giant like almost pneumatic or hydraulic lifts that kind of almost act as like a shock. Like I think when you set a fire.
Yeah,
like,
you get a really good shot of that in the earlier FMVs when it shoots this big thing that just like chunks back when it shoots.
It's big recoil of like hydraulic.
And then the next screen we get the name of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we get a little close up of Tifa getting ready to hit the main portion of the barrel, like where the barrel separates from the mechanics, and just printed on the side of it is Sister Ray.
Yep.
So it's called
mine says Sugar Ray. No. Maybe like
I was gonna make the joke, and you were so serious about it that I had to look. So I just want all the listeners to know that I completely fell for
He
that.
fell for it.
God damn it! I still haven't found the word gullible on my ceiling, and I've been looking since you told me. But yeah. Anyway, so it's the Sister Ray.
Yeah, and you kind of just keep climbing along, and you can really like tell how high up this is.
Oh, dude, so
just
far
because
up.
like in the distance you can see like the waves and the ocean and just how you're like really high up.
Yeah, and running out along this barrel over the ocean, like, and the barrel extends along the ocean. So if you were to fall, you just have
into the water.
Yeah, you'd be into the water. It would be a long way down and a long way back to shore.
And she's so tiny in comparison to this barrel.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like, it really gives you a scale of it because I mean we've seen this like in some FMVs and
you can see it on the world map. Like,
exactly.
It's a huge thing. Like
It's wider than like most smokestacks I've seen.
Yeah.
Like on
Yeah.
the side.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great big.
Large.
So then you make it like all the way to the end, and then like the perspective.
I love this perspective.
Changes again, where it's just Tifa standing like towards like the end of the barrel, and you see like the nice horizon and the sky and everything,
Yeah,
and the ocean.
And the sky is so cool because it's like it's kind of dark and you can see a little bit of blue in the sky, but the clouds are all like tinted red.
Yeah.
So it's dude, it's such a good shot.
It's that meteor colored sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also interesting too. Like I feel like the sky is very like I would love to see like the texture that they used for this if they just used like a still image of the sky, because we only see this from like this perspective.
Yeah.
And when we see the sky, it's only at a certain angle. So I'm wondering if that's just like because it looks very realistic. It like in a way that a lot of the stuff in this game kind of doesn't. Like it looks like it could actually be like a photo from the 90s, like a high quality photo from the 90s.
Could be.
Yeah.
It's an awesome shot though. It really is.
I mean, I've seen sunsets that look like that where the sky just like glows pink.
Yeah.
And like it's nice golden hour.
That nice meteor hue that Wimmer was talking
But
about.
as Tifa approaches the end of it, you can hear Scarlet say, "Our little game of hide and seek ends here."
Yeah.
And you see her approach, right? So she approaches, walking toward Tifa, and says, "The execution may have been unsuccessful, but your death by falling and crashing into the water below might still be pretty exciting."
Yeah.
And she runs up and just smacks the shit out of Tifa, and like so much that she's like knocked off balance. She like regains her balance.
I like what
But, like-
Tifa's doing before that happens, like when Scarlet's walking.
Oh,
up to her.
I love it
She's
too.
standing in like a sassy pose, like a little
Yeah,
bit. Like
just-
her
yeah.
one foot is like crossed behind her other, and she's got
Yeah,
her
just like I
hands-
don't know
It
what
was
you're
like
talking
be-
about, bud.
Yeah.
It was like before her doppelganger said, "Don't forget the black materia" in the last episode.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
the same pose. It's very like
Curtsy, cutesy, kind of tilting toward the camera.
yeah. It's very like rebellious. You know, she's like, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about right now.
The developers were like, "We developed this pose. We have to use it more."
Yeah. And then I really love the like the sassy snap she does after she gets slapped. Like she just like turns around to stare Scarlet down. It's very
so
It's
good.
so good. And Scarlet says, "Stuck up to the end." And Tifa says, "Quit slapping me, you old zoinks."
Yeah.
And then in parentheses, press A.
Yeah.
And we
So-
get like the wildest fucking mini game.
Yeah, so hey, what's the verb you guys think of Tifa doing most of the time?
Punch.
Yeah. So what the
Yeah.
fuck?
yeah,
Why
right.
is
think
this a
it's-
slap fight? Like
I think it's just more like back to that, like it's personal. Like Scarlet made it so personal, and Scarlet has slapped her so many times that she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking."
Slap the living shit out of
yeah.
you. So this is a
I-
slap mini
I
game,
kind
and
of
literally
agree with
there's
you.
one mechanic.
yeah, just slap faster than her.
Just slap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine if this prompt came up and you just punched her once and she fell off the sister ray. Like that would
Yeah,
be
yeah,
that'd be
like,
so good. Yeah.
We've like established that like a single Tifa punch is like the most devastating weapon on the planet.
It is
Yeah.
like one punch man.
Yeah.
Like that's the weapon that Planet should have like you used to clear out Shinra. Like,
She could eat her right off.
oh, she could give her such a yeet.
Tifa's just using the weapon that like scales with like how close to death you are and everything. She's
Has
like, I
death
was just
below
breathing
grip,
in poison gas. Like
Yeah.
I have so much damage boost right now. She uses her limit break and just uses like dolphin punch.
Yeah, oh, it'd be so good. But you get in a fucking slap fight.
Yeah.
And the last time I played this game, not this time, but the last time I lost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How
you
did
can
everyone
lose?
do?
Oh yeah, how did everybody do?
Oh, I did fine. I just
Hell yeah.
smack faster than her and it
I-
cuts
Fine.
hands. Yeah.
I did not get hit by her once and just kept slapping her.
No shit.
Nice.
I think I got slapped once this time.
Nice.
Yeah,
So what happens
about
when
the
you
same.
lose?
Okay. If you lose, she just she's like, "You fucking stuck up bitch," or whatever. And she just like
Yeah.
insults you, and then nothing else happens. Right? It's
Right.
just you just lose. I thought maybe you'd fall off the fucking cannon or something like that. But
Anytime you slap too, like there's different dialogue. Like
Yeah.
Tifa's just
Yeah.
like, what?
what payback?
Oh yeah, she says it like that. What?
Oh, when I
What?
got hit, she says, "Stop it."
Yeah. Oh yeah, and she just says payback. Oh, she says stop it too. And I don't think I
Yeah.
got hit, so I think
Oh.
I think it's all just the same dialogue. And she says, "Same to you."
Yeah, I know.
It's so good.
And if you when you beat Scarlet, she says, "That hurts. God, I can't stand it."
Yeah. Let me see if she says anything if you lose. I don't think so.
Okay. And so Scarlet is like done with you. She's like, "Oh, fuck you," because like even if she loses, she's like, I'm fucking done with this. And she turns around and says, "Take her away." And some Shinra soldiers appear on the screen. And she says, "It's time to pay up. Calm down or I'll drop you." And I was like, "Ooh, shit."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's like, you know how we sometimes have that dialogue that's not in a text box?
Yeah.
It's just that white dialogue that says run ... run to the end of the cannon ! And so Tifa like hears this, doesn't know who it is, and is just like, I guess, fuck it, and turns around and runs to the end of the cannon. And we're pretty close to it, right?
Yeah.
And like, have you guys seen Back to the Future 2?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yes. Have you seen? Okay.
This happens like every action movie.
I know. Whatever.
This is where like they have like the boom in the movie trailer.
Yeah,
like where
yeah.
the music stops.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Tifa runs to the end of the cannon, and right as she gets there, you see the fucking high wind whoosh like come on the screen, right? Like,
Yeah.
what would you call that?
They still would mess
Ascending?
with you a little bit for this scene, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you see Barrett in his, I like that Barrett's in his like in-game character model, and so is Tifa,
Yeah.
and everything else is FMV.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
another one of those, right?
No physics this time.
Yeah, right.
Thank
You're
goodness.
right. Yeah. And Barrett like throws a rope down, right,
Yeah.
for Tifa to jump onto, and then
A
I
shiny
love it.
brown wire of hope.
Yeah, and then I love this. I don't know if this has happened yet. It may have. But the camera shows Tifa running away from Scarlet and the Shinra goons, right?
Yeah.
Like the camera's pointing back toward Junon. And everybody is, in fact, in their like weird Popeye polygonal models.
Yeah.
But in the FMV this time.
They're baked
Yeah.
in, yeah.
They're like baked in. Yeah, it's real interesting. And you actually see like Tifa's expression, and it's fucking hilarious. Because she has like her normal like eyes and face that she always does on the overworld.
Yeah.
She looks over her shoulder, and her eyes get like cartoonishly big, and she has a mouth all of a sudden and goes, and, like looks super surprised, and like blinks and snaps back in and like keeps running. And I love that little touch is hilarious.
Yeah. And then she jumps and grabs onto the wire.
Well,
for the-
she jumps and misses the fucking wire.
Oh shit.
And then
'Cause
the
you, like-
bottom swings up and she can catch it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, just by the very bottom of
Oh,
it. So she
man,
gets a
I missed
second
that.
chance to snag it.
yeah.
And the fucking high wind flies away, baby! Getting out of Junon! And
Did it!
And it's like a really cool scene because it like flips around and kind of goes by the Junon tower and just goes right by the side of it.
I think it also started playing the Highwind theme there.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah, it
Which
does,
is
yeah.
such a good theme.
It is. It's very good.
Yeah.
God, what a fucking scene.
The part where it just says run ...
Yeah.
It reminds me of that one old Vine video where it's just like a bunch of people standing on a beach and all the beach umbrellas are like being blown with wind and a song is just playing over it, and you see a guy running up to one of the beach umbrellas with another beach umbrella, and he goes to throw it at it like a javelin, and he throws it and the umbrella keeps coming, and it's like right at when like he throws the javelin and it doesn't do anything, it keeps coming, the song just goes run.
Oh, wait. Here it is.
Okay, let's watch it.
Just hear it.
Run.
It's just Tifa running at the to the highway.
That's so good. Oh my God. R.I.P. Vine.
R.I.P. Vine.
Oh.
TikTok is the one we deserve, not the one we want.
Yeah, the one we want. Yeah.
Yep.
I sure don't want it.
Yeah.
Someone we need right now.
So we cut to
The lower deck.
lower deck
Yeah.
of the high wind.
The
Wait, what is
observation.
The poop deck.
what's the thing on the bottom of a zeppelin? Does that have like a name?
The bridge.
the
The
balls.
lead.
Well, we're not at the bridge, right? Because like there is a bridge.
Yeah, there is a bridge. I
Oh,
don't
no,
know.
yeah. I guess this is just the deck.
This is
Yeah.
like an
Yeah.
observation.
This is the closest
deck or
thing it has to
something.
a deck, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I guess because like it's similar to a zeppelin where it has like its I guess air storage up top. The observation deck is actually on the bottom of the ship. Whereas like if you think of a ship, typically I think you would think the observation deck is on the top of it.
Yeah.
But it's on the bottom of this. So,
I think when you look at the screen, it just says high wind.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
But,
the high wind's weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
yeah, it really
I-
doesn't.
I would like to point out up here. So we know, Barrett, Ket, and Yuffie were all on the deck or on the air pad before, right?
Yeah.
And so they were able to like commandeer it and get away. So they're here with Tifa, and I would just like to point out that like Barrett and Ket are standing there talking to Tifa, and Yuffie is just fucking laid out
Assed
on the
out.
Yeah, just
Yep.
fucking like laying on the ground with her limbs all spread out, just like passed out, right?
This poor girl.
Okay, was she also seasick when we were on the barge?
Yes, she was.
Yep.
So she's air sick too. I think she's just
Yeah.
motion sick.
Yeah.
So Barrett says, "Are you okay?" And Tifa says, "My cheeks hurt a bit because he just got in the slap fight." And
yeah,
everything.
which is funny because when I read that, because I won the slap fight without.
Well, you
getting-
still got slapped once.
I know
Yeah.
I did, but
Okay,
at first
all
when
right.
I read that, I was like, my cheeks hurt. I was like, well, she did fall and like land on her butt. Maybe that's what she said. And then I was like, no. I was like,
her butt cheeks hurt.
I was
'cause
like,
she
no.
fell off the little tower. That's so good.
That's like just where my brain went. And I was like, oh no, they just had a literal slap fight.
Yeah,
Like,
that's amazing.
Well, she also got like one sucker slap in.
yeah, of course.
And in the two or whatever in the gas chamber.
Of course.
Yes.
Tifa says, forget it. What's this all about? And Ket says, well, I'll catch the details later. Which, like, didn't you orchestrate this? Why would you catch the details
Yeah,
later?
Right?
yeah.
Wasn't this his plan?
Yeah,
Like,
he says, in any case, the airship, Highwind, is now yours. Yeah! Yes!
Got a new whip.
New whip.
New whip. And then Ket and Barrett go inside, and Yuffie's still out there, and if you go talk to her, she says, ha, like
Yeah.
that. And says, well, I'm glad you're safe. I'm going to stay up here a little bit longer. I get sick on ships, either in the air or the water.
Yep.
Yep. And then we walk
Poor
into
Yuffie just spends the whole rest of the game nauseous. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Poor
yeah.
Yuffie.
But so we walk into like not the bridge, but kind of like the interior, I guess, of the Highwind.
Yeah.
Where we can
Yeah.
like have access to different rooms, and it's pretty fucking dope in my opinion.
Absolutely. I love this. I love this whole area.
Yeah,
the Highwind's
it's-
great. Like,
it's-
there's a bunch of different rooms in here. Like,
Yeah.
cool place.
It's super cool, and you know it's all metal, right? Like walking on grating and going downstairs. It reminds me of like like a submarine maybe,
Yeah.
but a little bit more open. Like a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
more open air than a submarine would be. And I talked to some of the crew here. One of the crew who's just like messing with some levers, I guess, says, "My hands are full, so I'll excuse myself." And your options are fly airship or chew the fat.
Yeah.
And so I was like, chew the fucking fat.
Oh, yeah.
And we get a little story here, and I actually think that this is like
Oh, wow.
important text.
Yeah, I love all the story that the
Yeah. He says, what should I talk about? Do you want to hear why we rebelled?
yeah, and you can say listen or,
Or don't care. Right. So
I
said,
think if you say don't care, like it just ends the dialogue. Like it doesn't actually like he's not like, oh man.
fathead.
Yeah, nothing good.
So he says, working on the Highwind, we spent every day slaving under Heidegger. Whenever he got yelled at by the president, he'd immediately take it out on the crew, which is true. We've seen that multiple times.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We put up with this all the time, even when he beat us.
Ugh.
I mean, I finally made it on the crew of the famous Highwind, and there was no way I was going to quit over him. Let's see, it must have been about a week ago. It was my shift, and we were heading toward the North Cave. Everyone, including the president and Scarlet, got on. And with them, I saw Sid, a legendary pilot.
Yes.
Yes. And he was looking around inside of the ship, looking really, nostalgic. He even talked to us.
Aw.
I couldn't believe it. I was so impressed. He was every bit as warm-hearted as we'd always heard, which is hilarious
Which is-
because
who the hell
was he
because Sid is such
talking
a
to?
bastard. Yeah.
Maybe compared to Rufus. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely compared to Heidegger.
Well, I could see like whenever Sid is like waxing about flying, he does get very
Yeah,
like
that's
touchy and
true.
emotional. Then, yeah.
Yeah, and he goes on to say, Sid said that if he ever had the Highwind, things would be a lot easier. And now here we are, off to save the planet. It's true, he really overwhelmed me, and that's why we decided to help. After the North Cave, we went to Junon, and I
love this.
started screaming, "Fire! Fire!" In the middle of all the commotion, we stole the ship from the Shinra. That's how it happened. Just a minor mutiny against our leaders.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah!
Fuck
Revolt! And then he says, but Barrett and you were captured by Heidegger. We waited 7 days for the chance to rescue you guys before we finally could. So thanks to our successful mission, we were able to see you all again. I hope I didn't bore you too much with that long story.
Which is the most exciting fucking story anybody's told us yet.
Yeah, he tells such a great story, and it's also like so like it's like, oh, this guy's so sweet. He's like, oh, I hope I didn't bore you with like telling you about.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, oh,
Well, I
come
feel
on,
like
homie,
all
that's
the-
what I'm here for.
Yeah, I feel like all the technicians on the Highwind are like genuinely good people. or
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
Like, and I love. Yeah, they started a fucking union. Anyway. There's also a chocobo stable
I love it.
on board.
Oh, yeah.
You can go talk to him, and the guy at the stable just says, "I'm bored. I want to ride a chocobo." And if you ask him, "How do I?" he says, "Listen, you got to ride in on a chocobo you've raised yourself. Then, if you bring your chocobo to the stable, you can let it rest here. I'll take care of it for you." What? How do you raise a chocobo? Can't say I know much about that. If you want to know about raising a chocobo, there's a ranch near Midgar. You should ask them.
Yeah.
So like, if only I knew where that was. But that's cool though that we can actually bring a chocobo on the ship.
Becomes important.
Foreshadowing a big old time suck later.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Chocobos can fly.
Yeah. And there's one guy in like the war room who says, "Sorry, go speak to Captain Sid."
Yep.
So he won't talk to you until you
No
do that.
fighting in the war room.
Yeah. We see Ket and Barrett on like a
Walkway down there.
Oh yeah,
Walkway, yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
On a walkway, and Barrett says, "Damn it! Why didn't you tell me you could fly an airship? I thought Tifa was gone for good." And Ket says, sorry, I had to do something to trick the enemy. Come on, everyone's waiting. And the camera...
Yeah, that's a bullshit excuse.
Yep.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like, there's a little bit... Because, like, he is in, like, a room in Midgar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. So, like, he's definitely surrounded by Shinra employees. But there was definitely a couple points in there where, like...
Yeah, we were by ourselves able to...
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say something.
I also like
maybe like at Shinra HQ he was around people and couldn't say maybe.
He's like on his office
Yeah, but what is he
phone
doing now?
And his manager.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, seriously. That's a good
Well,
that's a good point.
maybe he's still keeping tabs on them or something. I don't know. Because like he'll get his comeuppance eventually, but
He's on his office phone and his manager is able to just like listen into his calls. He's like, "Hey, what did you tell them?"
yeah.
I like the weird multi-layeredness of I'm still saying Kate Sith, but Kate Sith is remotely controlling this body, but the body is now in a disguise as well,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah.
you're spying on the enemy, but then spying on us by also being disguised. It's just like such a weird
disguise to the company that you actually work for,
Yeah.
who made
Yeah.
the creature you're disguised as.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wild.
He could have shown like, oh yeah, it's me.
yeah.
Remember me? I work for you.
Yeah.
Who made at least two of them because
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
But
Do you
But
think
also, this doesn't explain how what their plan was going to be had there not been a giant hole ripped in the fucking.
I was
Yeah.
thinking that.
Were they
Like,
just
maybe
playing-
there are like cannons on the high wind and they would have done something similar?
Yeah,
I
but
don't
they're
know.
just going to do a whole like pirate raid where they drop in and just do
Yeah.
brute force it. I don't know.
I
don't know.
guess. I don't know.
It's
do,
very
do they have dynamite or something?
it's very first Pirates of the Caribbean
Sid
movie.
does have dynamite.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Barrett's got that satellite dish.
Yeah, Barrett can just do a fucking satellite strike.
that's right.
That limit break is so ridiculous.
I love it
so
so
much.
much. I love it.
So Tifa walks onto the bridge, and Sid greets her and said, "Welcome to my airship, the High Wind."
Yeah.
and I love it because like it is his ship, right? Like if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong about this, I think when we first meet Sid and he's talking to Rufus, I think he mentions having made the High Wind and being like, and then you immediately stole it from me, you
or-
fucking dicks.
If not built it, like
He like
was the
designed
captain
it
of
alongside, or
I mean,
something.
it's named after him at the very least.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
His
Sid
last name
Highwind.
is Highwind.
You're
yeah.
right.
So it was his, and then just in typical Shinra fashion, they were like, "Oh yeah, like we need the tiny Bronco." He's like, "No, you already took my airship." Like,
Right.
yeah.
And-
I think it's also really nice that like after like the Barrett and Ket Sith, Kate Sith, however you say it, right after that, Tifa's just like everyone's here. Like, it's the first moment of hope that we felt in a while, where it's like, oh my god. After all of that shit, all of my friends are here, and we seem to be doing okay in a world where a meteor is about to come and kill us.
Well,
all.
and that's just it. Isn't
I will
it?
say,
'Cause-
so the crew just said that they put off their rebellion until they could save these guys, right? Is that what that
Yeah.
is? So why is Vincent, Red, and all them's on the ship?
I guess they were in Junon as well. I
Yeah.
mean, Yuffie was
Oh,
there.
Yeah, okay, that's
just-
fair. Yeah.
Maybe.
whatever rendezvous they had.
Yeah, we'll have to make a guess about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of what you just said though about like, oh, everyone's here, right? As soon as Sid's like, "Welcome to my airship," Tifa looks around and the camera kind of moves around the airship, like it's looking at all the party members, and we see Barrett and Ket, Sid, Vincent, Red, and it kind of goes back to Tifa and Sid says, "What's wrong? You should be more excited."
Yeah.
And Red just goes, "Yo, Sid, like, you know what's going on, right?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah, right." And Tifa says, "Not enough crew." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks," because she's looking around for Cloud.
She's like, she's
Yeah.
looking for him, and he's not here.
That does suck. And Sid says, "Well, it takes all kinds."
Yeah. And then Ket says, "Tifa, I'll give you info on Shinra. Ask me if there's anything you don't understand." And then
we're
you
able
can
to
keep talking to him, and he doesn't give you any more info.
I know. And we're able to go around and talk to all the crew and the party members now.
Yeah.
I love talking
that-
to the
Yes.
two guys right above
Yes.
above Ket, where they're like, "Please don't talk to me. I can't. No."
I know. And like you'll hear like alarms go off and the whole thing will shake when you talk to them and they're like, "Oh," and Sid's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
So that's peak comedy.
That's so fun.
very good.
I don't think I must have had my volume low or something because I didn't know that it like made noises and like shook around.
Yeah.
And I just thought like so like the one guy says all we have to do is just pilot. They don't have to talk to us. And then Sid says, hey, you, what the hell are you doing? So I thought he was like, hey, don't talk to them. Like, you're supposed to be doing your job. And I was like, how is he any better than what they were dealing with? So I'm actually glad that like they were kind of fucking up because they were getting distracted. Right. And that's why Sid's yelling at them.
So we're able to go talk to our party members. And I love the interaction between Tifa and Red.
Yeah.
So that's who I kind of talked to first.
Yeah. Really
and I get like, I just love Red, man. I just feel like he's the most trustworthy out of everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, Red's great.
I feel like he's got the best heart. He's got like the most pure heart, I guess.
Like if I was, even if Cloud was here, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I was in a dire situation that I needed assistance for and I had to trust one of the party members to take care of something for me or like call 911, I'd be like, Red, absolutely Red.
Yeah. You put Red in your phone as your emergency contact?
Yeah, he would absolutely would be.
Red, second choice Sid probably. But
yeah, probably Sid.
Yeah.
And Sid would chew me the fuck out about it later, but he would get it done.
It's like mom and dad.
Or he'd fall asleep instead of doing the thing.
True.
Depends on how important he thinks it is.
Yeah, I'd be like, Sid, I need you to listen to these instructions very carefully. And he's like Abe Simpson, where he's like, oh, I absolutely.
I was thinking he's just wearing his goggles, but they have like fake eyes drawn on.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Red says, do you think we aren't strong enough without Cloud? Just fucking point blank asks. Yeah. I love it. Do you think that we can't save the planet alone?
Yeah.
And Tifa says, meteor's coming, the weapons on the rampage, which, I guess they know that there are multiple weapons because they saw them. So, So even though we killed that one just now. At a time like this, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. No idea at all. And then Barrett from across the room says, get a hold of yourself, Tifa. Let's think about this. There's no way we can get off of this train we're on. Yeah. Oh, there it is again. Yep. And Tifa says, if only Cloud was here, everything would be fine. Cloud would ... stand that cocky little way that he did and tell us what to do.
Yep.
He'd say, everything's under control, Tifa. And I love that Barrett says, Tifa, when did you become such a wimp?
Yeah, and
because before Cloud showed up, like we saw in the flashback at the beginning of this episode, like she was already a fucking terrorist.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like she was already carrying out this action with Barrett.
Yeah, she was
Avalanche.
like a straight rebel and just rallying everyone together and like taking control and like she was a complete badass. And now she just kind of is shifting a little bit, but Barrett's like keeping her true to her real self.
Right. Tifa says, "I'm sorry, Barrett. I'm so depressed. I'm surprised at myself."
Yeah.
And Red says, and Tifa, the reason why we all thought it was Cloud was because ... And she says, I know. That's why I wanted to make sure. That's why I have to see him again.
Yeah.
And like, oh, it's such a good...
Love it.
Such a good back and forth. I think Vincent, real straight up, so glad you're all right, Tifa. That's all he has to say.
Very polite. Very.
Yeah.
I like to, if you talk to Red after all of that, he just says, cheer up, Tifa.
Yeah.
And he means it.
He means well. Yeah, it's genuine. Barrett says, what, does Cloud always have to be around? We did fine without him in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? And what happened to that tough girl I used to know? Where'd she go?
Yeah.
And like, let's go in.
Love it. He's like rallying her.
And I like fucking Sid is, I like, what? I love it. I still love Sid's.
Oh, yeah.
He says, really good. I want you to know I didn't dislike him.
Yeah.
Which like, okay, fine. That's something.
Yeah.
And he says, I gotta admit, he was a strange dude. Just when you thought he was cool, he'd do some damn fool thing. And then when you thought he was smart, he'd show you how stupid he was. Everything about him, from his movements to his speech, were kind of odd. And knowing what I do now, I can see why he was that way. Well, as long as you stay alive, you just might be able to see him again. So cheer up, sis. Which I love that.
Which is really good, and I think it's also kind of like, given everything we talked about in the last episode with like how what's going on in Cloud's head and everything, where it kind of lends a little bit more like insight onto that whole thing, where it's like, oh, he would always act so tough and then do something really fucking stupid, or like, oh, he was always like trying to be cool and it wasn't coming off that way and stuff.
Right.
It's like we've kind of been saying that since the beginning, just being like, oh, he's always like an action hero and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
And it's like with all of that in context, it's like,
yeah, right.
So like Sid just like is very right on about all of that.
Sid also says, if we can find out where he is, the high wind will get us there in no time.
Hell yeah.
And Red pops up real quick. He actually runs up the stairs a little bit during this conversation and says maybe Cloud is still stuck in the northern crater where the ground cracked and swallowed him up, buried in the depths of the underground. And
welcome.
Yeah.
To the underground.
Tifa says, deep within the earth. Are you talking about the life stream? And Red says, the life stream sometimes gushes out from cracks in the ocean floor to the surface. I've heard about such a place. Maybe, just maybe Cloud is ... So I think that's like the only real clue we get about where we're gonna need to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, really the only clue you get is go places you can get with an airship.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think
Well, there's one more line in a little bit because I went back and talked to everybody again.
Same.
On the ship.
Oh, okay.
Because if you talk to the pilot here, he said let's talk about the pilot real quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I love the pilot so much.
The name of the pilot changes throughout the course of the game.
It's really,
right?
really good.
So we talk to him right now, and he's pilot in training (parentheses level 3). So he has like levels, just like we do, and he's a level 3 pilot, and he just says, "Wah, Captain Sid," like he doesn't know what he's doing. And Sid says, "Tifa, I'm sorry, but I gotta show this moron how to land a ship." So good. He says,
I also love the implication that it was like, no, we're stealing this right now. You're flying.
yeah.
I'll teach you how to land it when it matters. Like,
Yeah, right. So good. He says, "Don't worry, it'll be done in a minute." Oh, and Tifa, no matter what your goal is, you got to be prepared. Go to the operation room and get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So I went to the operation room, y'all.
Hell yeah. Me too.
I like that the guy in the operation room says, "Tifa, thank you for a job well done." How polite. It's
very good.
Love that man.
Yeah, and then he says your command, and you have PHS save or HP/MP restored. So he just becomes
you talk to this guy a lot for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Yes, you do.
yeah. So this is where we switch party members and everything on the...
yeah
on the
while on
highwind.
the high wind.
So
Yeah.
I guess, so guest Alex, you've already
Yes.
beaten the game and did recently and replayed this section again. So I'm assuming like after this episode, you're not going to replay the rest of the game, right?
No.
Okay. So
I'm going to play Final Fantasy VIII.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
So you other two, wingnuts, who did you put in your party? Who are we rolling with from here on?
Let me see if I have a screenshot of it. I think I want to do. I'm doing Vincent and Red 13.
Okay.
Because I haven't really done much with them at all. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you know what? I'm going to give them their time and see how they affect the story in this part.
Okay. I picked Tifa, Yuffie, and Sid. And if I could take Cloud out of the party, that would be my party right there.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the choice crew.
Oh, also I have Tifa. I don't know. Can you do...
You have to have Tifa in the party.
Okay,
this time,
cool.
Yeah,
because
Tifa is now your party leader like Cloud was.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I put Vincent in my party just
Okay.
because I wanted some, long range stuff going
yeah.
on.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the fact that like this is the first time that we get autonomy in the game, like able to go to different towns, able to do all kinds of stuff as somebody else other than Cloud,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
like we can now run around as Tifa and party instead of Cloud and party. Super cool. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so from this point on, once you put your party together, you can fly the high wind. But I went ahead and talked to everybody else again.
I agree. I think we should do that now.
Yeah. So I talked to Barrett first. He says, whenever I think of Cloud, everything gets all jumbled up. No matter how powerful Shinra or Hojo is, I can't believe that they create humans.
Yeah.
But because of them, we know that Meteor is heading toward us. Even if I saw him, I don't have a damn idea what I would do. So good.
Yeah. If you talk to Kate Sith, he says, everything appears calm right now at Shinra, so now's the time to look for Cloud. I'm worried about him too. I wonder where Cloud is, or could he already be ...
I was like,
you were so close to not being a piece of shit.
I think that's the you know what? He is trying. He's just he's not great at it. Oh, and this is the thing Red says is what I think is our best clue of where to go.
Absolutely.
Red says there appears to be a small island near the life stream. They said the life stream sometimes gushes out at the southern island. I remember hearing about it from Seto when I was a child, but I don't remember much else. I'm sorry, Tifa. Which I love that because I think that's the only other interaction we've talked to Red about his father ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
like, I was like, okay, so he did grow up hating his father, but he does remember
A time before that.
about hearing stories from him and shit. So
Yeah.
I love that. It's like one line, but I love it.
Vincent says something very goth.
Yeah, he fucking does.
He says, too much hope is the opposite of despair. An overpowering love may consume you in the end.
Which, I can't wait till we get to Vincent's story.
me too.
An overpowering love that may consume you.
Sounds like a fortune cookie, honestly. Though.
Yeah.
An overpowering love.
time.
yeah. So that's all the extra text that I got from everybody.
I have a little bit more.
Tell me.
Just because I went back into Junon and talked to people, and it's more just kind of like flavor text. It's nothing.
I
Really
love it.
Like let's see. When you talk to the old woman who's right outside of like under Junon, you can talk to her, and she says, "I almost passed out when I saw Weapon. I heard Weapon was beaten, but a Shinra told me there are 4 more. once meteor hits...
Oh, get the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah, and she says, once meteor hits, not just the fish, but the whole ocean will be destroyed.
Oh,
and then
that's brutal.
Yeah, and there's someone who's just kind of like walking around in the town, and you can talk to them, and they say, "What? Cloud is missing." And then Tifa says, "Maybe he dropped some from the north caves into the live stream," which is I read that verbatim. I don't know what that means. That's
like maybe he dropped a little bit. Maybe he dropped some.
Maybe he dropped some from the north caves into the live stream.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
And then she says, "Sir, do you know where the live stream runs through? Cloud might have drifted from there." And then he says, "What? The northern what? Sorry, but I don't think I follow. But I think I remember hearing Priscilla say life ... something before." So I went to Priscilla, and you can't like walk around her room at all. She's like behind a little like folding screen thing.
Yeah.
And you walk in, and she kind of peeks out, and she says, "Who are you?" And then you talk to her again, and she says, "Livestream? Yeah, I know. It's Mr. Dolphin's playground. There's a 3-taloned island south of the continent."
Oh, get the fuck out.
Oh.
"I heard the livestream runs below that island. But why are you asking about the livestream?" And then Tifa says, "Cloud fell into the livestream at the North Cave and has been missing ever since." And then Priscilla says, "Huh? Cloud? Hurry up and help him.
Yeah.
He's very important to me."
Oh, that's amazing.
And then you can talk to the Shinra guard as well, who is like, "Hey, you're not allowed here." And then you can give him 10 gil to go up to Junon. But that's kind of where I left
I
it.
feel like before we do the next episode, I'm gonna have to go to every goddamn town and talk to everybody and like get all this text.
I know.
I will say every town has dialogue about Meteor being in it.
Yep.
In the sky at this point, and there's some good stuff in there.
There's one of the old guys who's like standing kind of on your way to like where you saw Mr. Dolphin and Priscilla for the first time.
Yeah.
He's kind of just standing there, and he'll like look up at Meteor and say like he'll just have a little bit of text about like, Meteor.
Yeah. I would also like to point out that as soon as you put your party back together and you try to go fly the high wind again, the pilot is now level 4. So like in that small amount of time. Yeah.
Sid's leveling him up quick.
Yeah, and he's like screaming. He's like freaked out by flying it. He's like, are we going? And if you say yes, he's like, well, let's go, and like screams again.
Yeah.
It's so good. And can I say that this is fucking awesome, because I think this is the only Final Fantasy that does this. I'm not entirely sure. Every airship theme is always super awesome and fucking peppy and shit.
Yeah.
And as soon as we get onto the world map, it is just somber and fucking menacing.
Yep.
And it's not the airship theme, it's just the theme of the world now. Like our overworld music is no longer the overworld music.
And we've heard it before. It was playing a lot last episode during when we were in like the crater.
Yeah.
It's just very like ominous and anxiety inducing, and I love that too. It has the same like thematic melody as like the other world map theme, but it's like way more like droney and like depressing.
So like I love that that's the fucking overworld music now. Like this game has gotten really dark, and it's like showing it even when we're just walking around, cruising around.
Because I was thinking too, like, when you're in the airship, you have the cool high wind music that we hear. Like when we're inside of it and everything. But then, like when I was flying around, I was like, oh right, no, they just play this all the time. Because I was like, oh, it's nice like that they shift the overworld theme for when you're walking around to the very scary one, and it's cool that you can like you lose the old one that we had, but you gain the good high wind one. And I was like, nope, they're just really hammering home the hopelessness.
It's
real
fucking
good.
Wild. So I guess I'm gonna have to go talk to every fucking NPC in the entire world to find out
Next
if there's
week,
anything
every
cool.
effing NPC.
Just go to yinza.com/fandom/script/
But then we
32
won't. But then we won't know if they changed it in the Switch version.
That's right. Yinza, get on your Switch game.
Yinza still got the swears in it.
Yeah.
They don't have the zoinkses.
No zoinks.
Oh, man.
No zoinks.
Alex Wimmer, thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was a great time.
Hey, I think you might have some announcements for us, or have made some announcements recently.
So I have 2 things to say, one of which is I work at a grocery store, and let me tell you, searching for the best dates on perishable items is food wasting behavior, and everybody should fucking get over it.
Hey!
Hell yeah.
Official
and then-
stance of the pod.
Number 2, I work with an organization called 8-Bit LA to throw shows in Los Angeles, and we just announced Freak Fest Homecoming, January 25th and 26th.
Hell yeah.
26th at The Smell in Los Angeles.
Hell yeah.
I just saw the poster for that Drip made. It was
Poster
amazing.
rules. It's really
So
good.
Yo, shout out to Drip.
She
What's
should-
up, Drip?
She did a design for Goose, by the way. We'll
hell
be
yeah.
seeing those in the future. Yeah.
This pod is coming out on Friday, correct? This Friday?
That is correct.
November
Yeah,
1st.
so the lineup will have just been announced on Halloween.
Oh,
Go
boy.
see who's playing, and then come across the country for it.
I'm very excited. I am like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh man, here I go. Because I know I'm doing MagFest in January.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there like, do I have the money and vacay time to go to Freak Fest this year? Because I think the last time I saw you was at Freak Fest. Or wait,
It
was it that clipping in the Meishi show?
That was it. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember because you texted me one time, or you messaged me on Facebook, and you were like, "Yo, loser, guess who's got tickets to the fucking Meishi?"
And
I
then
like
you responded and said, "Me."
me, yeah, because you said that, and I was like, oh, I thought they broke up, and they got back together for one show, and so like I looked it up, saw that they were playing with fucking clipping, which so like the Meishi and clipping in one show, holy shit! But
It was a very good show.
oh yeah. So I immediately bought tickets and then messaged you back. I have tickets. That's who has tickets. See you in whenever. You know? And yeah, took a plane out there and hung out, and it was a
Yeah.
good old time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Come visit
Hell
me
yeah.
again, nerd.
Yeah. So I,
Me
you
and
know
Loki
what?
miss you. Yeah.
Oh, I think I might try to make it out for that. I'm gonna do my
Yay.
best. Yeah.
We'll post a link to that event deets and stuff in the show notes. Check it out.
Yeah, thank you.
Hell yeah, that would be
yeah.
great.
It's a hoot.
Anything else?
By the time you're hearing this, if you're listening to this the day we release it, tomorrow on November 2nd, I will be doing my 24-hour stream for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So come stop by.
A live stream,
yeah.
if you will.
My 24-hour live stream. Yeah,
I'll
so
definitely be in there
hell yeah.
a bit. Yeah.
Shout outs to Wimmer, who's always keeping me company when I'm doing stupid streaming
Yeah,
shit.
that's right.
It's always fun hanging
Yeah.
out.
You start streaming like right when I get home from work usually.
sweet.
So it's just works out nice.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I would like to say that I do indeed have that day off and had made no plans, so I should be there as well.
Hell yeah.
I'm planning on like having my two monitors and having one up and just have your stream on it, and the other one have Outer Worlds.
Oh,
and just
hell
sit
yeah.
here all day in my pajamas and just watch you do that and play Outer Worlds.
I will be expecting updates about Outer World.
Oh, yo, just so people listening to the pod know, it's good.
Hell yeah.
We should
my-
drive up and crash.
Hell
your
yeah.
Oh,
stream.
did you buy
Oh,
it?
yeah, that'd
Curtis?
be dope. Say what?
Did you buy it?
I did.
Oh, fuck. Eat. You. Nah.
Well, hold
Yeah.
on. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it after the podcast. Yeah, that's all I got to say today.
I should probably say I'm at Mr. Wimmer on Twitter.
Yes.
For now.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
I'm
You
going
also-
through a name change and not identifying with the Mister so much anymore. So it's,
Right on.
it's a
Fair
wild time. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair
Right
enough.
on.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
Well, thank you so much, Wimmer.
Thank you.
It was a
Yeah, yeah.
pleasure having you on.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know as you're playing through 8 what you think of it, because it is a opinion divider.
Oh yeah.
Which the
Yeah, I'm
correct
enjoying
opinion
it
is
so
that
far.
it's the best.
I just did the seed exam.
Oh,
Okay.
hell yeah.
Well, you're at
So,
the,
yeah.
the best part. I mean,
Yeah.
well, it depends.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you think when you get to and are about done with disc 3,
yeah.
because that's
Oh, I know it gets buck wild.
Buck
Yeah.
fucking wild. Like this game that we're talking about right now gets wild because we just introduced a meteor, like a meteor that's gonna fucking destroy the planet in no time,
And a bunch of kaiju.
and a bunch of fucking kaiju, and it like doesn't even come close to how fucking wild 8 gets.
Eight's really off the rails.
And that's the thing, is like it's almost like illogical how off the rails it gets, where you're
Yeah.
just like, what the fuck is happening right
Yet
now?
I feel like, I mean, we'll dissect it, but like I feel like it also makes sense though. In
it does.
in
It
its
does.
canon.
Yeah.
Do you think that giant fucking skull in Bone Village could be a weapon?
ooh, maybe.
Another one of the raptures.
It's pretty close to
I
the
don't-
northern crater.
I don't think I've fought any other enemies who are that large.
Yeah, I don't think we do.
Who knows? It's a cool theory.
Yeah.
That is a very cool theory.
That there could
One
be-
that we're
there-
standing behind and adding to the Wikipedia right now.
It's like
It is now canon. We are putting up our giant canon banner on this.
I know that some of the extended Final Fantasy VII materials do introduce more weapons than the
Yeah.
ones
Yeah,
introduced in this game.
I-
So you never know.
I don't think we've really discussed it, and it's probably time that we go ahead and do some housekeeping. But I will just say that, like, right here, right now, I am going to have some split opinions about other Final Fantasy VII material.
Oh, what? You don't love Gact?
The singer?
Yeah, he's in it.
Oh,
he's
really?
in those games. Yeah.
Oh. Well, it didn't really have to do with him. And more... Okay, here, without even revealing literally fucking anything, it has to do with Rufus. It has to do with Rufus. It's going to be my biggest
Oh, okay. Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
But we'll get there when we get there.
We'll get
Alex,
there when we get there.
would you like to play us out?
Oh, what are we gonna do next week?
Oh, next week. We're going to... Okay, so we're going to go to Midial, the town that's being talked about, real quick, and we'll be there for like 10 minutes. And because there's not enough content in just Midial right now to actually make an entire episode, we're then going to do the reduxes of Fort Condor and North Corel.
Okay.
So we'll be able to... That'll be a lot, but none of those sections are long at all. So like they could be anywhere from like each of those parts could take like an hour or 10 minutes, depending on how into them we get.
All right. That
All
sounds
right.
cool. Theme music is
Remix.
by DJ Cutman. Thank you for that. Feature music sprinkled throughout is by Nobi Umetsu. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. It really helps. I love seeing all the good things.
Leave us a 5-star review. Tell us how Kate Sith is pronounced.
How Aerith is pronounced. What you have got for the right arm. What Sephiroth smells like. All that stuff.
What's your favorite weapon?
Weapon.
What do you think materia tastes like? Is it like a big old jawbreaker?
What do you think Tide Pods taste like? Don't tell us that. Don't tell us that. Don't look it up.
Try this, kids at home.
So I'll go ahead and say this. Sephiroth definitely smells like cum, right?
Oh, 100%.
And we're done!
He's basically made of this stuff, right?
Well, aren't we all in a way? 1, 2, 3, 4.
See you next week. Same effing time, same effing channel.